Everyone strike a pose.
That was the right one. Hello, everyone. I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was. Skull.
Skull.
I think the whole goal of this show is to give LZT like a heart
An
attack.
aneurysm.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good idea.
I'm not
goal.
gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. I might
You don't
have a
have to
heart
say
attack,
anything.
but I'm not
That's
gonna make
the
a
best
fucking
part.
sound.
You just have to sit there, and an eye twitch is good enough for us.
That's the plan.
It's unacceptable. I will not work under these conditions.
You cannot fuse my people as a joke.
Let's see here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beserkr. It is a Norse Viking themed show, and that's all you get for now.
Good luck.
Seeing as this is the first episode, and Skull is like cheers or something, right?
Yes, but it also translates to bowl.
Oh,
Bowl.
sure. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what you used to cheers in. So it just went.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Bowl.
My brain went to like bowl as in like rolling a ball. You know, like
Oh, no,
bowling.
no.
Like
kind of
bowling,
thing.
yeah.
Interesting.
It's sorry, it's my accent. I'll try to turn it down, guys.
If you make yours as ridiculous as possible, it may allow other people
I'm sorry,
to try.
I'm not the problem here.
You know when
Jürgen the
somebody
Jürgen
gets
the
upset
Jürgen.
on Twitter for us just, just like, no.
I considered trying to do an accent just to like get in the theme of things. I was like, I don't want to be Swedish Chef,
I was
like
just going to say, it'll just turn into Swedish.
We are
I was-
Vikings. We are going raiding the bark.
Welcome to Berserk, the show where 4 Swedish chefs of adventure somewhere and
Yeah.
go
you
raiding.
got the chicken and you got the axe and the herd.
I love the idea of it being crossed out, so it says Beserkr instead. It's Berserkers.
Fuck, we should have started this like 2 weeks ago on April 1st and called it Beserkr.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
missed opportunity.
Or
Instead,
just-
instead of helmets, where everyone's wearing a chef's hat
Chef's hats,
and a
yeah.
fucking ladle.
It's a Viking show, but everyone's a character from the Muppets.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
Or we're all.
I'd be
We all
happy
have
to
to-
beat somebody to death with a fucking ladle. That'd be great.
So,
That'd be funny.
Beserkr, Vikings, this is the Wandering Inn. We make TTRPG shows. Currently, we make one a week. We've been on a small hiatus as I get things organized and sorted out. There are also multiple shows being recorded, so there are more shows on the way. And there will be, obviously still live shows. I am considering switching the show slot, but, I'll keep you up to date on that type of thing. Essentially, for now, there is one permanent show slot on Mondays at this time. You know this because you're here. My hope is to have 2 shows a week. One being a permanent recorded slot, one being a permanent live show slot, and kind of ramping up from there. Interestingly, we are actually getting reasonably close to having a second permanent show. So if you'd like to make that happen, check link down in the description. There is a Patreon. The best way for that to happen is to support on Patreon. Even the smallest amount will help. And slowly we will get towards paying all the cost for 2 shows. And then I don't have to
break
my bank account every time I have an idea and want to do more shows.
Hell yeah. How far away are you? Do you know?
Not precisely. I think like $100 to $200, like in that range.
That's awesome. That's definitely achievable.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's getting there. And I
Fuck yeah.
just so the people who are fairly regular know, we have set up a Patreon campaign that I'm going to run once a month. It's going to be pirates, and you guys, if you are patrons at a certain tier, you'll be able to jump in for a session. If you've been a patron for a fairly long time, you can basically add up all those loyalty points together, jump in for some sessions, you know, that kind of thing. So if you're interested, yeah, that is a thing that is happening. A little bonus for supporting the channel and all that kind of thing. Yes, so that's the Patreon. There's also Discord and Twitter. I've given up on trying to call it X. It's just Twitter. Fuck it, who cares? There is yes, there is Discord and Twitter. If you want to keep up to date with when the show's going on, stuff like that, easiest way is just subscribe to the YouTube and have it so that it will tell you when the live stream schedule goes up and things like that. But, you know, Discord and Twitter definitely help as well. Past that, there is a small delay on Dragon Riders Season 3. We're getting things sorted, but we've had there have been casting issues out the wazoo. Let's just put it up that way. So I'll keep you guys up to date as best I can, but yeah, just be aware that we are getting shows recorded. There has been one show that has started recording. It's been a lot of fun. I'll talk about that when it's close to being released, but I have started editing the video. That's a good point. The Blind Watchman, thank you for reminding me. This episode is 100% the fault of the Blind Watchman. A very, very generous patron on our Patreon. And yes, he decided to take blame for this episode. So
thank you. Fuck you. And
Good job, dickhead.
Yeah.
You'll be the first one I ladle to death.
I'm sorry. What was the $100 tier? Was that the negging tier, or am I misremembering?
Is that the tier where we just insult the person who's supporting the channel?
That is
cool.
it.
I'm here for that.
Carry on, lads.
Every time.
Yes, if you're on the $100 tier of Patreon, don't forget to turn up to the live streams so that the cast can demean you, stamp on you, and maybe spit in your mouth. Depending on, you know, like depending on who's up for what, you know, like
if you're into it, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just saying that right now. That's not how this works.
I'm just saying,
okay?
Rod's up for fucking anything.
That's a different website, but
You're just
it exists,
you start naming my fetishes off, and then here we are.
Yeah. But having said that, appreciate you very much, Blind Watchman. You help to, along with all the other patrons, you help to make these shows keep happening.
bowl.
Bowl. Let's bowl. Let's rock and roll. If anyone
To
has,
you, Blind Watchman.
if anyone has seen the sequel to Grease 2, they'll know that song.
No.
Wait,
do I
hang
need
on.
to see that? Is that
There's
really,
a Grease 2?
Oh, there's got to be like a Grease 3. Like, I'm sure that exists somewhere, but
Is there
I know
no
they
God?
exist, but yeah.
Grease 2 is horrifically cringe.
is
Yeah,
it
of
really?
course.
Oh shit! Okay,
I love it. I love it. There's legitimately a song that in Grease 2 that goes reproduction, duh, and they just talk yeah. It
This sounds like it's on par with Smokey and the Bandit 2. Like, really, we're going here.
It's
no.
like I'm not a fan of Grease, but I can recognize why people love it. Grease 2, I love because it's terrible.
You love it ironically. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
With that said, the other thing to say is if you want to support the channel, but you do not want to have a monthly thing, it is viable to throw in a super chat here, which would be much appreciated. But the other thing is, if you do want to throw in a super chat, you can throw in a super chat and ask the cast, or myself questions, and we'll answer them at the end of the session. So you can say, "Hey Sheepy, how did you manage to find so many men when you're surrounded only by women? And I will say I had to up their pay. I had to bribe them, and I promised Rod he could spit in people's mouths.
Sexual favors for all.
That was
for all.
that was actually genuinely funny. That was a really good fucking deal. But Sheepy, how did you find other men when all you do are drowning in women?
Yeah.
I know how. I know how.
That's a meme.
Grinder.
Yeah.
Yep. I forgot to delete my account. That's why I was how he found me.
I did not forget. I did not forget. I had never had any intention of deleting my account.
Having said that, it is a legitimate problem. If people have men out there for me, please do let me know. I need more. So, with all that said, yes, super chat if you want. Lay down a question, we'll answer them at the end, and we will, because this is the first episode as ever, we will do a quick run around, say hello to everyone, see where they're from, and then we'll get into the show. So we'll start off with Rod and continue from there.
I feel like I always get to start off first with these things, but I'm Rod. I do variety streaming over at Twitch, and I don't know, I podcast. I'm a published author now. Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah.
Holy
So
shit!
there's that.
Congratulations!
And so
Nice
I do.
pamphlet.
It's not a pamphlet. It's small, but it's
Fucking
it's
asshole!
not the size that matters, LZT. It's the content. It's the content.
Oh yeah, sorry. Or you're saying it's bigger on the inside?
Oh my god!
It has heart, LZT. It has
Okay.
heart.
TV, you just
Sorry.
like everyone's
I didn't
gonna
mean to
kill each
interrupt,
other
Rod.
before
I'm
we
sorry,
even
buddy.
go anywhere. Like,
And that's. I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, onwards.
now you killed him.
Onwards.
Now you killed him.
And to people with more girthy books, LDT.
Hi, I'm LC. I'm not a published author.
You have books, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all of my books are about pyramids though, so but yeah. I'm Lima Zulu Tango. I stream on Twitch. I make stuff out of dead cows and I play games.
Yeah.
And yes, I make stuff out of dead cows. It's
like-
not, maybe people go, really, why did you kill the cows? I'm like, I needed a bag or I needed a hat or whatever. And then people give me money for that shit. So I don't know.
Moo, Moo was annoying.
Yeah. And I was hungry. So I'm done.
Hamburgers.
And finally, for now, we'll see if we have another person doing the outros. But Goobers.
Hi, I'm Goobers515. I stream on Twitch.
True.
I scream at things. I play games. Yeah, that's me. Generally speaking, ADHD rage fueled streamer who does anything and everything he can. I'm starting Lies of P tomorrow, and I'm so fucking excited for that game. I hear it's like, so I do a Souls run every year, and this will be the first year we're doing a non-FromSoft Souls-like game, and apparently Lies of P is supposed to be a pretty good Souls game. It can hold its own, and it's still pretty fun to play and stuff. So we'll be starting that tomorrow. I'm excited. That's me, Goobers515.
All I would say is that the main one is once you start, you can't stop.
For
Lies of P.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can stop while you're peeing, definitely.
All right, that was good.
Thank you.
Caught me off guard. Yeah, that was no, I'm excited for that. So I play video games, the Goobers515 everywhere, but Twitch is where I'm at, and that's where the fun is. So
Yes.
Oh, and I have a news show on Monday nights with my buddy Rom, the Rom show. Some of the news, some of the time. It's called RNG. And yeah, you guys are more than welcome to come join that. It's later tonight if you want to stop by. It's a shit fest, and it's we'll tell you some news, but we're gonna laugh more than we're gonna actually inform you of anything. So
Cool.
Also, don't forget to check out the Patreon and the website.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh crap! There is a website. Yes, there is also a website. Links are down below. God damn it! It wouldn't be a sheepy intro if I didn't forget at least one thing, and yeah, panic and then be like, yeah, there is one. So links to everyone are down below. You have their YouTube. You have their yes, I did find your YouTubes. They have your the Twitch links or whatever else is needed, so you can go and follow them and see them while they're live. Past that, Kat was on the docket to be here today. However, there has been a minor emergency, nothing to panic about, but it does mean that we're not sure if or when she's going to be available today, so she may slip in unnoticed and suddenly be here, or possibly just not be here today for the episode. So we're going to carry on as if everything is fine and I haven't messed everything up, and just hope it goes good. Like every day. Okay.
Listen, every day is an improv if you yes and hard enough.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, and
It will mean that I'll have to rearrange the cams and everything in a blind panic. So that's going to be fun. Okay, so with all of that said, shall we skull, everyone?
score.
Yeah.
Let's skull, let's rock and roll. There you go, yeah, brilliant. So. So. In the beginning, at the dawn of creation, there was the void of the Ginnung Gap, which I hope I pronounced right, but I probably didn't.
Close enough.
The void that spawned the gods and everything else. The realms, the world, everything. Odin, Thor, Freya, Idun, and all of the rest of them. With them, creation began, and without them, only darkness would remain, the dark void of the gap. In the past, in times past, it was believed that the seas to the west of the land was the gap. A vast, empty ocean with nothing but death and nothingness waiting for you. However, luckily for some, eventually England was found. A vast, fertile, rich land with places to go raid. As we all know, a staple of Viking life is going raiding, and to begin with, very often it was down south and out to the east. However, with the discovery of England, more often, it became commonplace to go and raid the coast of England and Ireland and all over that way. Now, the Vikings raid the coastlines of England, becoming a terror to the inhabitants and taking as much as they can find when they can find it. So, with that said, we are joining a planned raid on the town settlement of Heffen, somewhere in Scandinavia. The Jarl Goodbrand has organized for the ships to be prepared and has just now sent out the call for a thing. For anyone who doesn't know, a thing is essentially a meeting to talk, discuss, or to just gather before, well, not before doing something, but yes. And so, we find ourselves in the, I would say probably forests. The land area is a little bit cleared. I'll have to get a little bit of information here, but Harold, you are a sheep farmer, correct?
Yes.
So I'm not familiar with sheep farming. I would guess a fair amount of cleared land and most likely, I don't know, it could be near the coast, I think.
Yes.
So,
certainly.
along with Leaf, who I'm unsure of your profession, but I would imagine just say like goat farmers, so you got sheep on one side and goats on the other.
You keep your
Yes,
goats away
yes.
from my sheep.
They are
Fucking
my
hate
sheep.
each other.
He's just angry that his sheep love me.
That is not true. That's blatantly false.
So, with this, we have a couple of houses, log houses, some cleared land, fences, and then just a fairly large area of wooded terrain and some paths going out. You are reasonably far away from Heffen itself, but considered to be part of Jarl Gudbrand's land. So when the call went out, when you were informed a while back that there was going to be a raid, you of course signed up. The general the general let's call it agreement is that the loot brought back is a significant portion is ferreted away for the Jarl, and then the rest is divided equally. These raids are generally considered to be fairly a fairly equal endeavor, aside from obviously being led by the Jarl. And Radulfa is, I would say, at this current point in time, it's probably fairly early in the morning. Heffen being about an hour's walk away or so. So most likely you're up feeding and watering the sheep and doing general odd jobs around your land. You see Radulfa walking up the pathway to both of your properties. Obviously, the road splits off, but he takes the right and he heads up towards your domicile, Leaf. And when he gets within hailing distance, he puts his hand up and says, "Leaf."
Rodolph, is that how you pronounce it? Rodolph?
Rodulfa will.
Rodolpha. Hail.
Yes, I have been sent by Jarl Gudbrand to let you know that the thing will be this evening.
This evening?
We're planning, well, the Jarl is planning on taking you off to raid the Westlands in the morning. So he would like everyone down. There's going to be a feast, much drinking, and then you will all set off in the morning.
I will be there.
I must go see Harold, but I'll see you at the thing.
I will be at the thing, and I will see you there.
Okay. And then he kind of skips over one of your fences and makes his way through the bleating sheep. And again, once within like hailing distance, says, "Harold,
Hail.
I came to tell you the thing is tonight. Jarl Goodbrand has sent out the call for all warriors to come."
Finally. These sheep are getting boring.
So I can tell him that you'll be there. It is tonight, and you'll leave in the morning.
I will look up at the sky to see where the sun is, and then look back and go, yes, I will be there.
Good. Oh, and just so you know, we are bringing a few adventurers with us. They have been staying with the Jarl, and they wanted to come along.
New blood, huh? Okay.
Strangers, but not so strange.
Hmm.
A little bit strange, but...
That sounds good to me.
Alright, I will see you at the thing then. I wish I was going, but someone needs to stay behind and administer the land for the Jarl.
Yes.
And then he puts his hand up and starts walking back down the path. As he does, probably steps in some discarded sheep poo, and like kind of kicks it a little bit, like wipes it off on the thing, and keeps walking. As you're tending to your steading, I don't know. Is there much for either of you? Would you talk to each other about the thing, or is this just something that it's like, well, we'll head off on our own?
No, I'm gonna walk over to Harold and be like, finally, the thing is this evening.
Yes. I told him the sheep are getting dull.
You can only fuck them so many times before you lose interest, huh, Harold?
Harold isn't even looking at Leif.
Yeah.
He's just looking at, is trying to keep watch over the herd and looking over, and then he just says, I think you'll find that your goats are the one with the horns.
You have to hold on somewhere. But the adventures, though, it has been too long since a good raid, and I am excited for the thing, for much drink, much eat, much everything, and it should be a good evening in preparation for the raid.
Well, apparently there will be drinking, so I'm always up for that.
Of course you are. I know. I see you over there.
Shaking that ass.
One of your goats is running away.
Oh, well. Get over here, you stupid goat.
Do I have to do a goat sound?
Yes, Sheepy. You need to do a goat sound.
Score one for the sheep. Team sheep.
That goat sounds a little... He sounds like he's fallen on his head too many times. I better check on that goat here before we leave.
And chat has also introduced the term muttony, as in
Good job, Paul.
mutiny
Good
and
job.
mutton.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I'm here for that. And yes,
When the sheep rise up,
Yeah.
it
Yes.
will be the great muttony. Never forget. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Okay, so...
Episode 1, and we're already accusing people of being sheep
hey,
fuckers.
this took at least 15 minutes than I thought it would. This took at least 50 minutes more than I thought it would.
I feel like being neighbors and possibly friends and mortal enemies at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
All of these are not mutually exclusive. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Also, like Harold said, like sheep get boring. You fall into this routine of like, hey, what's up, you sheep fuck up?
Yeah. Also, with the Harald's last name being Wolfcoat, is literally hiding among the sheep, going.
Did
Come
not even
on."
think about that. But
Yeah.
That's really smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, how is it's not Harold, it's Harald.
Harald.
Okay, I will do my best.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, someone said England is. I have a feeling England is gonna be completely safe. It's like, yeah, not like there's gonna be a sheep uprising. You're gonna be dealing with that for like a year.
I don't know where we're going, boys, but they sound very weird. Bonjour, qu'est-ce que se passe? Comment ça va? How are you?
You know what's even better, LZT is Pupul is legitimately French. So, and he's the one that came up with the money thing. So perfection.
Yeah, that's how the Normans actually started. They just got lost and they were like, oh,
Yeah,
this will do.
I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, look, we're getting saved from the Saxons and the Vikings because the French are coming." Yeah, French Vikings are coming.
Yeah.
It's still the Vikings that just speak different languages.
However, the camera shift scene switch to a forest deep on the outskirts of Heffen. Sven, you are creeping through between the trees with Aki, a fellow adventurer, one of your team, and currently speaking, you are just hunting. You spotted a buck as you were wandering through the woods and decided to go after it. So Aki is there with bow and arrow. You also have your I don't want to speak for your weapons, but I would assume fairly standard axe. Probably didn't take a shield out with you because in general it's not needed for
I would have probably borrowed somebody's spear as part of the group for this. Since like axe hunting is, unless I get a really good toss, that's going to be hard to get. So I'd probably grab a spear. Aki's got the bow, but the axe is more for either putting it out of its misery or, you know, also like skinning it or gutting it and stuff like that, which I guess you could probably do it back at home, but either way.
Yeah. Depending on the size of the game, sometimes it's better. Your choices are either like harvest it where it is and bring that back because it's easier to carry, or you can quarter it. Basically, like cut off the most important parts and like, you know, lump it together so it's easier to carry. In general, you're not going to carry back a whole deer. This is Sheepy playing very in-depth survival game knowledge, where it's like...
Yeah, I would say that, you know, assuming we got it, the plan is, since we're not going to be staying here for long enough to pull the whole thing back and let it, you know, gut it and let it drain of all the blood and whatnot, we're just gonna, you know, kill it, take its legs or something like that, you know, and use the leg meat. So
I will say for now, you are merely kind of like shifting through the trees and following the tracks. Aki is more of a warrior in terms of you know, he likes to fight, he likes to hit things. He's reasonably simplistic, not like dumb muscle, but just that's where his interest lies. He's not much of a pathfinder, he's not much of a hunter, but give him a bow and he'll hit the target. My question is, how is Sven?
Sven is Sven's definitely also a warrior, obviously being a part of this group. But more on the line of like, there's a time and place sounds like way too restrictive, but like he understands that like you're not gonna get anywhere hunting. Like if you just like go full, like if you just invest in being a warrior in that moment, that's not how you actually hunt. So like he's aware of when things need to happen, but he's also aware that the moment that he gets a chance to let go and the moment that he gets a chance to do what he's trained to do, he will do it in a heartbeat. And you know, being in this group and stuff and being friends with Aki, he knows that Aki is really prone to just like not hold that stuff in, and so he'll go ahead, he'll push too far forward or whatever, and then I'll just kind of occasionally like just be like, Aki, like wait, you know, just wait, listen, you know, just pay attention, you know.
In that case, as you go, could you please roll me a track? And I would say I can do it for you if you'd like, but I would put your tracking probably at around I'd say like 60 to 70, let's say 65.
Okay. Let's see here, the edit mode is there.
Yes.
And then I'm looking for add skill, right?
It should be towards the bottom. You should have a track.
I do have it. There it is. I just didn't see it. Okay, what were you saying? Like 60?
I would say 65 would make sense.
65. Okay.
And
Got
give
it.
me a roll
All right.
for that.
Then I just click it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Not in edit mode though.
Yep. And here we go.
Okay.
Fuck. Damn it. Wait, isn't that... Well, you're supposed to roll, so the way that it is, it's like you have to roll higher than
lower than.
Lower than the
low
number.
is good.
Yeah.
Low is good.
So I rolled an 86 out of 100. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Don't do that again.
All right.
So, as you're walking, Aki says, Sven, what do you think of the Jarl and his men?
I think they'll give us a rating target. I don't think anything will be as good as what we've seen before, but new employment will give us new opportunities. So maybe this could become something good in the future, but this is just to get our feet wet. This is just to start a relationship, and then the Jarl will come back to us over and over again, and he can give us more of whatever we find, and more opportunities for you and I to do what we do best. So I don't really care about the Jarl, but he is someone we have to know to do what we do.
But you're not thinking of settling down here, are you?
What? No. Settling down in this shithole? We can't even find a deer. What? No. God, no. You still have life in your bones. You're still a warrior. Settling down. Like Sven like spits. He's just like fucking... I'll settle down when my legs break, okay? I still have so much time left. I haven't even thought about that. Are you thinking of staying here? Is there something you want to tell me about?
No. I just felt like you've been getting on with the Jarl, and he seems to need the extra help. It must have crossed your mind at least that if you were interested in settling down, this is a viable option.
He's not the only Jarl we've worked with. He won't be the only Jarl that we work with after this. But it never hurts to find good friendship and good conversation in a drinking partner, whether they're a Jarl or a fucking sheep farmer. Okay, it doesn't matter. When you're drinking with somebody, you take the time to get to know them, to befriend them. And yes, I have enjoyed our time here, but no, I am not looking to stop or slow down anytime soon. Unless something happens in the field and a raid goes wrong. Then I will find myself a plot as best I can, or a grave. Either way, I'll be settled somewhere.
And Aki says, I can understand that. We wouldn't be the first one of our band to settle down after receiving too grave an injury. But I don't see that happening this time. We're not going anywhere dangerous. We're just going to the Western Lands. And I have heard that they are weak and unable
Ripe
to
for
give
the picking.
proper battle. Plus, the Jarl had said to you that he had found a new hidden town that hasn't been found before. So it's possible they won't even be expecting us.
He did mention that. I don't think we've ever come across a town that's not been raided before or had experience or didn't know there was a possibility of us coming. I'm excited at the prospects of walking through there and taking what we will, hoping that if there is some spark of defiance, that the speed and fervor that will deliver the raid with will stop them in their tracks. So yes, we will be able to do what we do best, but at the same time, we'll be able to get in and get out and come back here and begin the drinking once again.
I would prefer that they put up some form of resistance before we take our fill. It has been a while since I have managed to prove myself to Odin. I do not want to... I do not want to die and outside of battle.
Of course not. No. I simply mean, I hope that we can go there, come back, and prepare for something more grand, because let's be honest, an unaware town that has no idea that we're coming, no matter what, won't be able to serve any sort of warrior's death or warrior's fight to us. They won't. So let's make this quick. Let's make this easy, and then focus on going into what we know will be something that will give us the fight and feed and satiate our hunger for battle like we have.
Yes. And after a couple minutes more walking and just kind of general chat, Aki puts his hand up and kneels down at the to the side and kind of puts his hand out and just he's like, I think this is the buck we are looking for. And like he puts his hand down towards this like little dollop of poop that's kind of like
Sven just goes, Aki, that's rabbit shit.
And Aki's like, no, I'm pretty sure, and he like puts his finger at it and then, no, it's not rabbit shit, it's fox shit.
Oh, well, we're both bad at this then.
Yes, no, we have not I have my suspicions that we have lost our
I think
prey.
we lost I think it's gone. Maybe we should see what we could forage, head back. Maybe we can find the fox. I don't know. Not great meat, but it'll do.
We should probably come back with something. Could you give me a spot hidden?
Spot hidden. Okay.
That's
at 25.
Well, I would say probably for you, I'd say going off your character, like you make the choice. I'd say anywhere from like 45 to 55 would be appropriate.
I was gonna say about 45.
Yeah,
I think lower would be a little lower.
that's fair.
All right, here we go. Oh god.
Well, do not fear.
Wow.
Anyone wondering why there aren't that many rolls on the Wandering Inn?
They're all failures.
We are 0
Oh
for
my
4
God.
today.
I'm like, I kind of do this, and I gotta go. Oh, we gotta get back. Oh, wait. And then I look at my hand, and I look at the ground, and I've just wiped like fucking poison ivy in my eyes. Just, Aki, don't touch your eyes. We gotta go back. I need a salve. I've got poison in my eyes. My eyes are like my eyes themselves,
like,
and then the skin around them is like all red and shit.
Yeah. Yes, I think another day we'll give this another shot. But
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that'd be good. I'm gonna also need you to kind of like give like a rope to tie around me. I don't really know where we're going.
just put your hand on my shoulder.
Okay.
And do not touch my face.
I go to put my hand on his shoulder, but I can't see where his shoulder is, so my hand does like this at him, and he goes, "Whoa!" Yep. So I put my hand on his shoulder and follow him back. Like, oh God, it hurts.
And
fuck.
As Sven is guided back, shouting the entire way, the camera like pans back, like. And you just see like all of the animals in the nearby area just running away.
There's like 15 deer there and a whole bunch of
It's just like completely surrounding you guys. It's rabbits and deer and foxes.
In the one spot.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just surrounded by a feast.
Oh man, if this was a bit more goofy, I would have 100% had you do the poison ivy on your eyes and then try and like wipe it off, but you're using like the tail of a deer and don't notice, and then you just like wander.
I'm just imagining, like the Viking paint, but it's not a paint. It's just it's the poison ivy across his eyes,
swelling. I don't even know if they have like poison ivy or stinging nettle up in that area, but you do? Okay, great. Yeah.
Plenty of nettles.
Yep, there you go. It's just fucking all in there.
Oh yeah.
As the camera fades out, I just want to say, Goobers, I hope you don't feel like you're being typecast, because like
no. My man, I do this to myself. I fucking know 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I've played a whole bunch of different characters over the years, and sometimes it's okay to just play what you love, what you naturally do.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% okay with it.
Also, I did see your comment, but I'm going to adjust it slightly. LZT, sheep not looking so boring now, huh?
No, it looked like it might be a good investment of my time.
Why wasn't I a sheep farmer?
I like the idea that Harold and Leaf like walk into the hall, and there's just Sven and Aki sitting there like he's just like swollen and screaming and like etc.
Yeah.
And they just do the Grandpa Simpson where they like walk in, see this, walk out.
See, I was thinking the Family Guy, one of the herd of sheep come into the living room, and it's just Peter sticks out his head and goes, "She's still mad. Go to the clam." And it just disappears back in again and goes out. I also like the idea of this shit happening and Leif and Anna just walking past with their goats and sheep going, "Let's not talk to that guy. he's a fucking idiot.
Let's make sure we're on
He just rubbed stinging nettles and poison ivy in his face. Should we help him? No, let's watch."
Some village is missing their idiot.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That'd be funny.
But yes.
Yeah, so it's like water. There's like Aki has taken like a rag and put like water and done that, and then it's like that's kind of working but not really. And then there's like like he's done like milk as well on there, and then that's kind of worked but not really, and then he's tried like alcohol and that really didn't work, and I'm like, oh fuck no.
Yeah.
It's just not helping.
Let's move forward towards the evening. So I would say at this point, just for the sake of your sanity and everyone else's, the swelling has gone down. It's just a little bit red and itchy.
Remember, if your poison ivy swelling lasts more than 4 hours, consult your local shaman.
Yes.
And don't rub milk in your eyes.
That too.
I think I'll give you guys the choice for both Harold and Leaf. Would you like to fade in as you're entering the hall, or would you like a little opportunity as you're like? Do you go down together? Like,
I imagine we go down together.
Yeah, as I would assume, because I feel like we're the ones that like bust each other's balls is as much as like, because Harold seems quieter, but like still like a smart ass, and we just bust each other's balls the entire time. So yeah.
I also imagine that we're not like, if we have herds of sheep and goats, we're not going to be right up against the village. We're going to be a little bit out in the boonies, and it's going to be a case of if we go together, it's safer basically.
Yeah, it's safer, and you got someone to talk to on the way there.
Yeah. But
okay.
if it's going to be a thing and like about the coming raids and stuff, Harald has definitely left like instructions for his wife and children to be like, take care of the herd while I'm gone, and we'll be back in a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, if you would like, walking down the path, if there's anything you feel is particularly cogent that you talk about, you can. But otherwise, we can like fade back in with you entering the hall as the thing is on the way to getting started.
What season is it? Is it summer or?
I would say probably summer would make the most sense.
Okay, so it's bright well into the evenings then. It's not like Okay, yeah, so it should be fine then. I don't know if we talk about anything particular, but we'll probably.
It'd probably be a bunch of small talk and bullshit, right? Yeah,
that makes sense.
How the sheep doing? How are the goats doing?
Talk about the.
How are they doing?
Fucking.
How are the sheep doing? You get the ones.
How are my sheep doing, and how do you do your goats?
I mean, different days, different activities.
God damn it.
All right then. In that case, you both enter the hall. Just to give you a vague idea, although it's not super important. Heffen is not large, not small. Generally a fairly middle-sized settlement. You have a setup where essentially very, as far as I'm aware, very common for these times. The majority of Viking warriors are just regular people. For example,
it was very much a seasonal thing.
Yes. So during the winter and autumn, etc., when the raiding isn't happening, they would go about their everyday life, and then in the spring, in the summer, they start going out to raid, and generally speaking, the landed farmers and any other worker, really, any other call it a citizen of the local jarl or lord or whatever would essentially sign up for raiding, and this is what's happening here. So for this raid, you have around about 50 total warriors who have turned up. At this point, seeing as you're a little bit further away than the majority of the other warriors, I'd say you probably get there around about last. So by the time you got there, there's a big roaring, crackling fire in the center of the hall. The majority of the rest of the town is not quiet, but a little, the majority of people have come to the hall. You have the Jarl sitting in his kind of like official chair, with his family and attendants there. You've got a few, obviously, slaves wandering around, handing out food and drinks. The feast has just gotten started. So Sven, Aki, a couple of the other adventurers who you don't recognize will be there. And things are just starting to get going. As you enter, you see the Jarl in his seat kind of raises his hand and kind of beckon to you both to come forward.
I guess we walk forward to the Jarl.
Yeah. We approach the Jarl.
The Jarl is starting to get up there in years, so I'd say there's possibly a slight frosting of like white gray in his beard and his hair. Don't know what that's like at all, of course. And
You just look like you can't drink yogurt. That's the only.
yeah, or it looks like I just drank yogurt.
Yeah.
Very badly. And the Jarl says, Leif, Sven, welcome to the thing.
I'm Harald. Sven is.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he doesn't say that. He says, Leif,
How
Harald.
dare you, sir? I fought for you many times. You can't remember my fucking name.
I never remember sheep fuckers, it's okay.
You remember we fuck sheep, though, don't you?
I do, yes, that's why I don't remember anything else. It's the only thing that sticks in the head. But yes, he says, Leif, Harald, welcome to the thing. It is good to have you here.
We are excited for the thing and the upcoming raid. We look forward to all the carnage that we can create.
Harald kind of looks at Leif and goes,
Sven is somewhere in there, and he kind of turns and looks at him too. He's like, "What the fuck was that?"
I don't know.
Harald does a little bit more. Hail, Jarl Godbrand. I look forward to being of service once more. And then he kind of once again looks at Leif and goes like, "The fuck is wrong with this guy? This guy just wants to kill things." I'm like, I'm doing this for money.
Yeah. We need stuff.
It should be a good raid this year. I have picked out somewhere special, and like I said, the last thing, as far as I have been able to tell, it has untouched by raids so far.
That is getting rarer and rarer these days.
It is.
Do your slaves know anything about the new place?
Yes, one of our captives from the last raid told me a place it called Ipum, something like that in their tongue. Close to the coast, and they claim that the town itself has lots of what would the word be? I was gonna say plunder, but that sounds does that sound a bit too piratey? Like,
No, that's.
Loot?
I mean, that's accurate. Also, we wouldn't say plunder in Norse. It would be, but since we're using English, that's close enough. I'd
close
say.
enough. Okay. Yeah. Lots of plunder, and there is apparently one of their temples close by up on a hill that has artifacts and vast riches held within its walls.
There are
At this
temples
time,
full
kinda
of dead gods.
Sven kind of comes up with Aki and just doesn't interrupt, but just hears the over talking about where we're going, and he's just like, "Hail," just just listens in and very much shows like I'm just listening. you know.
Do we smell the fox shit?
Probably not. Oh well.
You might
Fox
on
shit.
Aki,
Do
but
we
not
smell
me.
the poison ivy?
My eyes are definitely still red.
Why do you wear a mask, stranger? Oh, that's your face. Sorry.
Fox shit does have a tendency to linger. It's very pungent.
Especially when you go,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
oh my god, it's shit breath.
Yeah, forevermore, Aki fox breath.
Aki shit breath.
But like, I'll be like, why has no one ever raided this village before?
Oh, sorry. Can you say that again?
I said, why has no one ever raided this village then before?
I don't think anyone was aware of it. It is hidden in the woods, a little ways away from the coast. It is hard to see on approach. You have to know where it is to find it.
Is it further south when we usually go?
A little further south, yes.
Oh, that would be why as well.
But it is isolated, so aside from any standing guards they may have, it is unlikely they'll be able to respond in time with any proper army. It should be fine for us to raid for a couple of days and then bring back all the plunder.
Did your
Before they...
slaves say anything as to why they're so isolated?
It is just a fairly sparse area in terms of people. A little bit hilly.
Should be easy pickings then.
Oh, my manners. Leaf, Harold. These are the adventurers famed in the area. Sven, Aki. There are a couple more of them who are currently feasting, but it is worth getting to know them. They will be coming with us on the raid.
Harald extends his arm to do the check for the weapons grab and shake.
Yeah, 100%. Sven just immediately does that and goes, "Oh," and then he lets go. Sorry, I may have grabbed some poison ivy, so you might want to wash your arm. But it's good to meet you.
Yeah, no, Harald is wearing full clothes, so he'll be fine.
Okay.
He's wearing linen and vadmal, the boiled wool that people around here wear. So he's fine, really.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's wearing an itchy blanket.
Perfect. Well, then he's not going to notice a difference then.
Nope.
Great, even if it doesn't contact your skin.
And
I'm
will just be
Sven
like this.
Jorgen, and this is Aki, and then he reaches his hand out to Leaf, and then he pauses for a moment. He goes, "It's good to meet you."
Yeah, I don't want the poison ivy if I can avoid it. How did you manage to go swimming in poison ivy, my friend?
Oh, there was a large buck, and it surprised us, and came out of some bushes and knocked me over, and I fell into some poison ivy because of it, and I fought it off, and we're back here now.
When Harald hears this, he looks at Leif and looks back to Sven and goes, "That was probably Loki." The bucks have been gone. The bucks have been gone from this area for many years.
Oh, well, then let's pray we don't see any more of that. And this is the worst we get from Loki, because it wasn't great, but hey, if that's all we have to deal with, then that's better. I'm okay with that. Anyway, we'll be better at bringing back some substantial meat next time without any of this. But we're not here for that. We're here for the raiding and then plundering and everything in between. I am excited to see this through. We have not raided with you all before, and we're excited to see what we can come up with, especially in this new isolated place. It'll be nice to get our hands on a new location and a new peoples. We'll be the first ones to get out there.
first to take everything that we wish.
Have you been raiding before, you two?
I was 16 summers when I raided my first time.
I was right about that same age also. I've been raiding for many years.
How and this is like out of character. How old are both of you guys? Like, how old do you look?
Oh, Hodda's probably like 32, 33.
Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. All right. And I'm guessing
Yeah,
Leaf is
Leaf's right around the same age. Yep.
okay. Ah, yeah. Okay, wonderful. Well, then we all know what we're doing. We all have an idea, and we're not going to have any sort of
You won't have
stragglers
any
of the
problems
ways.
with nerves from us.
Good. And then he looks at the Jarl and goes, anybody else who may be new to this raiding? To our raiding here?
No, this time we are not taking any new bloods in. I thought, just in case that things get... We wanted experienced warriors only, as we have limited space to take warriors with, so that we can bring back more plunder in the boats.
Well, good. Less complication. We all know what we're doing. We're competent. We'll come back here in no time. I look forward to it.
And I think as the conversation kind of simmers a little bit, at this point the Jarl kind of stands up to address everyone, as there's kind of like a semi-rowdy like vibe. Everyone's kind of laughing and chatting and kind of, you know, throwing out stories of previous raids and things along those lines. The Jarl stands up and says, "Warriors!" And the mood of the place simmers down a little bit as everyone kind of peters out and turns. You've got a fairly long table with a pretty nice assortment of fairly standard, I'm gonna say for the sake of this, like medieval food. I'm very tempted to go full medieval and put like like a pig with an apple in its mouth, you know, and all like caramelized
Which
and everything.
wouldn't be very strange, but it wouldn't be with an apple in the mouth, but it would be sad. I'm not the divine pig that dies and feeds the halls of Valhalla and comes back every day and dies over and over again. So it would be a symbolic thing.
So a pig, but no apple.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a pig there, but no apple. Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
And the Jarl says, "As you know, I have called you all here for this thing, so that we can meet, we can feast, and tomorrow we will raid. So, to fill all of you in, I will be providing the equipment, I will be providing the ships, so I will take a hefty percentage to cover my expenses on this raid. Aside from that, you will all be sharing equally of whatever we find. The more we find, the more you share equally. So, once we have dealt with the people of the town, really go and look for as much as you can find. The more we find, the more we share. Are there any objections to this?" Looks around. I imagine everyone's like, "No!" And they're like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Either
like,
that
like
or
Clash.
just going, "Arr!"
Yeah, like, they clash the drinks together. And
I'm
they
mostly drunk by now. Like,
Yeah.
just
I think during the speech, Harald is sitting with his brother Eskil, who is lives in town, but at the same time.
And the Jarl says, "We set sail tomorrow. However, as you all know, the trip takes 3 to 5 days, depending on weather. So, feel free to get as drunk as you like, to get as stuffed as you like. Although, if any of you are sick in the morning on the trip, we will make sure to dunk you out so you do not throw up in our boats. Keep that in mind.
I was gonna say
Everybody just
getting
like
really,
the drink.
really drunk and then going on a boat the next day sounds like a bad idea.
Oh,
No,
it
it's perfect.
It is a bad
a
idea.
horrible idea. And
I have done it before.
Of the adventurers.
It's
and
called a
stuff that are there.
cruise.
Yeah. Of the adventurers and stuff, like Sven, Aki, and anybody else in our group, they're immediately just like tossing back their drinks because they're just like too drunk. Fuck you, ha ha.
My dad is quite an avid sailor, so in my childhood, and teens, there was a lot of sailing. He has had his own boat and sailed all the way from like England down to Croatia, and like down.
Holy shit.
Like over the course of like 5-10 years, just
Wow, that's a very, very slow sailing.
Oh,
That's,
what?
but
he-
that's
10
also
years?
awesome,
yeah.
though.
He was.
I mean,
he
I
was,
can fly there in a few hours.
Well, what he would do is he would like sail along the coast slowly, stopping off at places to like check it out and stuff. Occasionally he'd like jump off and then fly back to England and then fly back out and keep sailing it, and so
That's
just like
fucking
slowly
cool.
crawling along the coastline of Europe. Yeah. Anyway, that's a random. Needless to say,
Tangent.
Needless to say, in my teen years, I did get drunk. I did go sailing the next day. I did throw up. But yes. So, yes, Jarl was saying. With all of that said, for now, enjoy your evening, enjoy the feast, feel free to get drunk, try not to kill each other, and if you burn the place down, you'll owe me a lot of money, so don't do that. Having said that, skull!
Balls!
Skull!
And the first chance that Sven gets, he's immediately going to challenge anyone. He's actually going to challenge Harald and Leaf to an axe throwing competition. It's 100%. It's the first thing he's going to do.
Okay.
He's like itching to do it. It's like his thing that he does. Almost, I would say, almost so like Aki knows it's coming.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, all right, let's get this out of the way, kind of a thing. So he's just like, okay.
Harald is very much up for an axe throwing competition.
Ah, good. And then he kind of slaps you on the back. Just
That was Leaf.
Okay, Leaf. How about you? Good. Yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Outside then. Swigs it and he he's just got two of the I guess you'd say they're like hand axe hatchets, hand axe, whatever. They're basically one-handed axes, right?
Yeah.
He's got two of those, and he's just like, you could use whatever axe you want, but we stand here, and you aim for that hay bale right there. The first to the center wins, and then he just immediately he's just like, first to the center wins, ha! And just throws the first one without even waiting.
Oh, could I ask as well very quickly, who was your brother Harold?
Eskil.
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 Is he going on the raid?
I don't know. That's I'll leave that up to you.
Well, let's say he is, seeing as he's out the thing.
Yep. But also, he just lives in town, so he might just be there for the free booze.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll go. Can I get a beer? So we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, totally. I'm not going to be hiding in the basement.
You know what this raid needs? Another beer. All right. In that case, seeing as this is a competition, what I will say is, you have you have the throw skill, which we will be using for any kind of type of throwing implement, axes, spears, etc. Feel free to go into edit mode. What I will say is, so you don't have to throw yet. What I will say is.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem. What I will say is your throw skill should probably It would be like your throw and your kind of like ranged.
It's like a ranged attack kind of thing.
So go by your character and how you feel your character will fight. Obviously, this isn't a super important role. However, what I would say is you have a bow skill in your fighting. Essentially, if you put high throw, put low bow. If you want higher bow, if you want to be proficient with a bow, put your bow high, put your throwing lower. So,
got it.
If I don't intend to use a bow, can I put it at 0?
you can put it at 0, sure, but you may end up like, randomly using a bow or something. So
I'd like to use a bow. 50. I don't have a bow. Okay, roll for bow.
Can I increase my rifle/shotgun instead?
That should you can. Okay, I'll tell you what.
Are you saying it's more likely that I will fire a bow?
You can have a 5 in rifle and shotgun. If you like.
I already have 20 and 25, so let's.
But I would say in general, as a general rule, probably about 45 to 65 is going to be standard for you as warriors. If you feel that you are especially proficient, probably you can go up to about 75. If it's something you are a god at, then I'm willing to talk like 80 plus, but you'll have to get my permission for that. I'd say anything above 75 definitely needs permission.
So I got rid of my bow completely and upped brawl and melee because that's what I do.
Okay.
It's oh, you're going to stand here and twingy twang your arrows? Okay, hold my beer. Rah!
I should say as well, in general, I would say blocking with a shield would fall under parry. So keep that in mind. So if you're for the most part, if people are like firing arrows at you and everything, as long as you're in a shield wall, you'll probably be fine. You won't need to roll. If it's 1-on-1, then that's when we'll have to talk.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sounds good.
For this instance, feel free anywhere from 45 to about 65. Feel free to fill out your fighting and your throw. We'll be using throw momentarily to see how the axe throwing competition goes. What I will say is if everything is ridiculously high, I will step in and lower all your skills.
Ooh, okay.
So go off your character. Obviously, you're going to be good at fighting, so I won't be overly harsh. But I'd say at most, pick a speciality, put it at about 70, 75. The rest of them should be 45 to 65, depending on your character and their, how you feel they would do with certain things.
Okay. My guy's basically like the thought process behind my guy is essentially he has the 2 axes, so he's going to be much closer, but he doesn't he's not as much of a meat shield, it sounds like, as Harald, but he's moving and he's very quick and nimble, but he's still melee, and he'll throw his axes when he gets the chance, but it's nothing. There's no bow and arrow.
Harald is much more of the barbarian scream, run into the fray.
Keep in mind, there may be moments as we're doing, as we're laying out how the combat's going to go and stuff. I may not even ask you to roll necessarily your weapon skills. It may also be your strength, dexterity to see. Depending on your fighting style, so Harald sounds a lot more like he may pull on strength, whereas Aki, for example, fights with an axe and knife, so a lot more agility based, a lot more dexterity based, kind of dodging and hamstringing. You use the knife to cut away their tendon or whatever, make them vulnerable. So.
I just like to point out, damned man, throwing up is a legitimate tactic in a fight.
Yeah, that's definitely an element of surprise right there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it's an internally contained version of pocket sand.
I mean, all I'll say is I I put the projectile in projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
Listen, if you just swallow a handful of marbles and then cause yourself to vomit, it's just like buckshot, you know? Like you're fine, right?
But I was ridiculed when I asked if I could have shotgun.
Oh my God, we found the loophole.
So, as time goes on, you know what? Yeah, let's make this interesting.
I have my throw stuff set.
Could everyone first roll me a Constitution? Also, is Aki taking part in this axe throwing competition?
Yeah, I would say he is. Yeah.
Success.
Constitution.
Oh
I
my
haven't
God,
adjusted
Rob
my values
rolled a
at all.
96. That's not good.
Should be
That's
fine.
not good.
Should be good. Okay.
That was very bad.
Okay. All right. In that case.
Barely.
In that case, we will have a little bit of a bonus for a little bit of a disadvantage for Aki and Leaf in this axe throwing contest. So the first round of axe throwing will commence. I will go for Aki, who I think.
Does he hit one of their sheep? Holy fuck!
I think
This is why I left the sheep at home.
I think he's just like and like swaying and swaying, but he's holding the axe backwards and he just pulls it back and it just like hits himself in the head with the axe and just kills himself. No,
What? I was like, holy shit! What the fuck?
No.
92 is not great.
I think he okay, yes. So he's like concentrating, swaying slightly. He's up first. Everything to prove. Like the hunt didn't go well. His adventuring companion rubbed poison ivy in his eyes. He managed to get fox breath. And eventually he just flings it, and you just hear this, and then like the crash of like pottery and a cat going meow.
Oh no!
And
I was like, if this doesn't hit like the
No,
neighbor's
Aki,
dog
no.
or something, I'm
He's
so
like-
upset.
like flings his arm forward and like stands there swaying for a couple of seconds, and then kind of like swings around and says, "Did I hit it?"
You hit something.
Not what you were
Depends. Were
aiming
you
at.
aiming for the pots?
No, I guess that means I'm out.
Guess
so.
Just laughs and just smacks him on the back and says, "Get the fuck out of here."
I'll get another drink. Good luck. Don't worry, Sven. You got this. And he like pats you on the shoulder. Who's up next?
I'll go next.
Oh! Fucking hell!
Okay, so as a note,
Wait. What is that? Is that like 8 times success?
yes.
That is very good.
Damn.
So the way I do D100 systems, I consider a 10 or lower. Like a 9 or lower. Sorry, like the 10. So single digits, I consider to be essentially like a crit. Anything under a 5, so 4 or lower, I consider to be like a super crit. So
Fuck yeah. Okay.
it's the same with so for example, Aki essentially got a critical fail there. And anything from like 96 or and above is like a super critical fail. So
I love the idea of Leif being the drunkest here because he absolutely tanked his constitution.
really
and he's just
tanked
going,
his constitution.
Yeah, that's
Watch
watch
right.
this. Boom, straight in the middle it goes. I'm the man. Yeah.
I still-
I'm
I mean, my whole thing is like throwing knives and throwing shit. So I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
so.
makes sense.
you got a 96. That would be like a critical a failure
yeah.
on
Oh
your
yeah,
con.
yeah. Like
I am
you are.
fucked up.
He-
You
You
are
have alcohol
very, very
poisoning,
drunk.
and you fucking just nailed this.
What I will say is Leaf, you're swaying, you're like stumbling back, and you're like, and then people kind of like hold you in place, and like let go and like move back, expecting this like wild Aki throw, but the second that you pick up the axe, like there's just a focus, a concentration. Like for a second, for a half second, the drunkenness like dissipates, and you just, and it goes, and just sticks like right, like diagonal in the center of the target. And then there's like a second where everything is silent, and then you just like fall backwards and just like crash into the floor like with a smash of metal. And
Harald definitely catches him. Harald definitely catches him before he hits the ground. I like the idea of him going. Coming back up.
Yeah, you just kind of catch him and put him back up, and he's like,
I win.
And
Sven's like, holy shit! What the fuck? That was amazing!
I also love the idea of Harald grabbing him and not falling backwards, just leaning him to the side.
Just tilts him like up against the pillar. And then next up, honestly, we could go by constitution rolls, but if either of you would like to follow that one, feel free.
Sven just looks at Harald and just is just like, I don't know how we're gonna best that one, but be my guest.
Harald will go and yank the axe out of the target and walk back. And he's a big guy, so he's not so influenced by the drink.
You could do it, sheep fucker. You can do it.
So close.
I think it sticks in, but it's nowhere near the middle.
I would say like it's essentially there's like a sliver of the tip of the blade of the axe blade is in the target, but it is mostly just to the side of the post.
It's so close to hitting it though, so it's
what are you gonna do? You can't compare to that. He just kind of points at Leaf over there, just like I don't understand it either. But
Harald looks at Leif and looks back at Sven and goes, "It's okay, he won't remember."
We can both lie about this. Oh, perfect. All right, doesn't matter what I get. This is great. Here we go. And then Sven kind of leans back and gives one of these things and just he yells when he does it too.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Do it. Oh,
yes. All right, I'll take it.
It hits the target perfectly fine. And I'll say like it's nowhere near as perfectly like placed and lined as Leaf's, and there's like a small kind of semi-enthusiastic cheer when you hit the target. Everyone's like, "Hey!" And then the silence descends. And if you'll allow me, Leaf, I just have a little addition in there, which is that as the silence descends, Leaf is like, you just hear Leaf say, "Is it my go yet?"
Is it my turn?
Absolutely. Take another drink and then get going. Then Sven kind of uses the bottom of whatever axe he has to kind of like, he's like drinking and he kind of puts the bottom of the axe here and just holds it up.
I think Harald will go, "Yes, turn," and then he'll turn Leif around and lead him back into the party.
I don't know whether there was anything on this. It doesn't seem like it was more of just like a friendly competition, bonding type thing. So.
Sven 100% does this wherever he goes with the group that he is, because there is actually like he actually does find a bit of value in having some I don't know, like connection with the people that he's raiding with. He's not super standoffish with the new people, because they're not in one place for super long. So these people may be people he doesn't know, but he's going to be doing something with them, and he would value knowing them a little bit more and them understanding he's not an asshole. He doesn't hate them. Whatever. They can work together. So this is something he finds value in wherever he goes.
Well, what I would say as a result of this session and everything would be Leaf. If it ever becomes time to roll to like convince someone, like be it a regular Viking warrior or one of these guys, if it does ever come to that, persuade or anything kind of like friendly like social stuff. essentially we'll consider you having a bonus because of the critical
Bragging rights. Yeah.
the critical success on the throw,
Okay.
especially while drunk, is pretty impressive to everyone.
That was
Yeah.
fucking
It adds to
awesome.
his legend.
Yep.
So what I would say is that you have an increased respect gained from everyone around. However, the critical failure of the Constitution means you have no idea why. So everyone treats you a little bit different, but you're not sure why. You're like,
Oh,
okay,
God.
I've noticed the pattern with my characters had like one-shotting things and then
Yeah.
it working out well for me.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Ugh.
God.
The night continues. And you know what? Let's, just for our own amusement, have another constitution roll from everyone.
Harald does not drink to excess.
Okay.
Oh, Aki, what the fuck?
Yeah, Aki,
Oh shit! What?
Oh.
Holy fucking god!
Seeing as you don't drink to excess, Harold, I take that to mean you essentially retire a bit earlier.
Yeah.
You want to be fresh for the raid. It doesn't mean that you get ungodly drunk. Sorry, ungodly drunk. You don't get ungodly drunk. You hit a point and you start to feel your vision swimming a little bit, and you're like, this is my point. This is where I go lay down. You make your excuses. You say you do a little bit more kind of, let's call it socializing, bonding with the other warriors, but you then retire reasonably early, along with the first wave of men and women who just call it for the night. Some who aren't going on the raid wander off. There is call it like a bunk or something where all of the people from
There's a common room, probably.
yeah,
in
common
the hall.
room,
Yeah.
where everyone can kind of like bunk down. Leaf, you manage to keep going. Going off the previous Constitution roll, it doesn't make anything better.
He just not more fucked up.
yeah. You just kind of you maintain a pace
Yeah.
for a while. However, I will say, the one thing you take away from the experience is whoever these adventurers are, you cannot keep up with them. They just like
Holy shit!
they can't throw an axe for shit, but they can drink. And I would say you crash out at a certain point with them still going, and Sven, ultimately it is you and your fellow I say adventurers to like separate them from the warriors, like because they're a separate entity who've kind of come in to join, but you and your fellow adventurers end up being the only ones left as the fire starts to embers, and as everyone else falls asleep. It's you, Aki, a couple of the others, and you finish off the night by yourselves. Unless there's anything you'd particularly like to talk to the others about, I think it'll probably just kind of fade out with you sitting by the fire, kind of like softly talking and just reminiscing about past adventures.
Yeah, no, that's. I don't want to talk about anything else other than
Yeah.
what we've already covered. Yeah,
You're
seems right.
like you guys both rolled a critical success on the
What
on the thing.
fuck?
Sorry, you're not that drunk, to be fair.
My weakness is not alcohol; it's
No.
poison ivy.
And accuracy
deer.
with thrown
And
things.
deer.
Yeah. All right. In that case, let's. Morning comes around, and gets light fairly early, but I'd say the majority of you, even though it gets light fairly early, are up at a pretty early time. Either you didn't drink too much, or you just handled it well enough to not.
God's
sleep
favored
in.
us.
Yeah, I don't think any of you were woken by the. If you'd have failed on top of the critical failure for your constitution, I would have said you probably sleep in and get woken up by a bucket of piss or something being thrown at you. But you did succeed the second one, so I think you managed to wake up. A little bit of I'd say of anyone, you've probably got the closest to a hangover. Just a little bit of light sensitivity, a little bit of a click in your head where it's just like, like every now and then you turn your head too quickly and it's just like, ugh.
It's like Thor's smashing his hammer on my head.
Yeah. And preparations begin for the journey. The majority of which is loading up the ships, kind of getting your gear, that type of thing. And just you know, getting ready to leave. You're gonna leave fairly soon. However, if you have any preparations you need to make, if you have any, especially any conversations you need to make, please do so now. Well, Sheepy goes to the loo. I'll be right back. Yeah, if you want, feel free to just fill for a second.
At some point,
every time, every fucking time.
what?
He cannot go one episode without having to go.
You're not supposed to hold your pee. It's bad for your bladder.
Yeah, but he
right?
can't say like, "Hey, let's take a break." No. You guys keep
Hey,
going.
you just gotta go
I'm
in the
gonna
middle of
take
the
a break. It's so everyone else. You know what, chat? Everyone else, we get sent a bottle, and it's not a very big bottle. That's it.
Oh, piss bottle. I was like, what is he talking about?
It's the Amazon workers guide. So
This is we suffer here, chat. We suffer.
for your amusement.
Yeah.
I think sometime later on in the season we should just all get up and go to the bathroom at the same time and not tell
Yeah.
Sheepy.
hey, Sheepy. If you need to have any conversations, do them now, and we're just gonna go.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be the best. Well,
Have to do that. Don't tell him, chat. Don't tell him.
Yeah, don't tell him. He might watch this back, but if you
he'll
do watch
definitely
this back,
watch it
don't
back.
fucking
Hi,
don't
Sheepy.
tell us. Pretend like you never saw this, okay? All right.
Yeah.
I would say that at one point Sven would have snuck away during probably the morning before everybody kind of got going with stuff, because he kind of knows like this is where everybody starts getting stuff on the boats, get stuff ready, whatever. But he would have snuck away into the just a little ways into the woods, not too far, and then in there he would have pulled out a little, I don't know, charm or something that he has, and would have prayed. He just would have prayed. It's not
like a tricorder or something, is it?
I don't know. He has something. I really don't know what it would be, I'll be honest, but it's some sort of an item that is kind of like what he likes to have as a focus, for like, this is my thing and this is what I do before we go on a raid. So nothing immensely serious, and frankly it's kind of ill-informed. Like, he knows there's gods, he knows that they are to be prayed to give you good fortune and this and that and all that stuff, and he just kind of does it in his own way the best he can. And then kind of awkwardly he kind of maybe goes onto a knee or some knees or something like that, and then he gets up and kind of walks away and continues back. But it's all very almost innocent, I would say, that he does this.
Harald spends the morning making sure he's got all of his gear and his helmet still fits. It does. And
Head didn't get any bigger.
Just making sure the hair looks good. Harald just makes sure his shield is on the side of the longboat, and all of his gear is there, his coat's there, his 2 axes are with him, and all of this stuff.
This is probably a good opportunity, and keep in mind, like, for the most part, I'm not going to be super strict with equipment or anything, but it's a good moment to kind of find out your fighting styles and what kind of equipment you're taking with you, like just the general vibe of like what you're going with. So, for example, Aki is Aki favors an axe with a knife. Kind of like, you know, doesn't like the shield, bit weighty and slows them down. Also has a tendency to be pretty proficient with a bow, and so in general will, like, say a traditional standard style like shield wall. People form the shield wall. Very often Aki will be behind, taking a few shots over the top of the shield wall, something like that. But yeah, what would and keep in mind, it's perfectly valid to be like, I have a giant axe I hit things with. I am big man. I'm not expecting like this massive, like, diverse, different features of combat or anything. Just curious, like, is it two-handed? Is it dual wield? Is it axe and shield, sword and shield? Like that kind of vibes. Do you like to fire a bow and arrow? Do you like to throw a knife every now and then? Etc. etc.
Sven has his two hand axes. He's much closer. He will throw them. He actually has a longer knife on him that kind of is all around his waist, in addition to these, in case he throws one and needs another, you know, weapon or whatever. But he just has those, and then he has the knife, and I would say he has minimal armor. He is, not that he doesn't have any armor, just minimal. Doesn't have a shield. He's much more like in your face. He's always about like moving around and like, I don't know if I want to say parrying, much more dodging than parrying. And, you know, prefers to get in there, do damage, move to the next one, do damage, the next one, do damage, or kill the next one, whatever. So just he's very quick.
I will say as well, depending on your like fighting style, like dodge could be moving out the way. It could also be like deflecting.
Okay.
So, you know, like parry is like parry to me is like a sturdy block. You know, either with your shield,
meeting rather than getting out of the way.
Yeah. Dodge in this case would be like a redirect, kind of move around it or something like that.
Yes.
You know?
So it doesn't just have to be based on like dodging specifically. It would be essentially using your agility, your dexterity to get around. Also, you can probably up your dodge a bit if you like, because
I was gonna do that.
That was a good roll, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. God damn it. I keep clicking on it. I mean to hit edit mode.
Wasting your rolls, man.
God damn it. I know, right? Fucking got an extreme success on a "Are you sober?" roll.
Meanwhile, the entirety of chat and people watching on the VOD are like, yes, more rolls. We're so starved for rolls. Sheepy won't feed us.
A roll budget. Kind of similar, but also the different from Sven is Harald's fighting style, which is no armor.
Okay.
He doesn't wear armor. Armor slows you down. And if I'm going to be in your face, bashing your face in, either with his two axes or not improbable that he will use up the axes in someone's chest or belly or forehead. He's got gauntlets with like the claws sticking out of the knuckles.
Okay.
Which is why his name is Ulfhednar. So he's the wolf variety of a berserker.
Okay.
So he's because berserk means bear shirt, but he is wolf coat, which is the wolf version of it. So cool. When he goes into combat, it's not a conscious thing going, I'm going to go after this. And no, it's a case of after combat, he's like, "What happened in the last 40 minutes? Because I have no recollection of what just happened.
Right.
It's all bloodlust, and his personality is completely gone while he's fighting.
Okay.
Sounds like we have
It's
the
a
new
case of,
Mordecai.
oh, someone stabbed me. I didn't notice."
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a few of those, like maybe a few like markings, like
Oh yeah, he's. I mean,
when you
his
go in.
chest and his torso is covered in scars,
Tattoos.
and it's a less of a like Sven. I'm going to dodge out of the way. Harald is more like he's swinging right towards me. Good. That word means he won't move for a little bit. I've got him right where I want him.
Ow, chunk.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
yes, you got me, but you're
It's-
dead. So who wins in the end?
It's the Rocky Balboa method of fighting. Just
Yeah,
tired.
right?
Your enemies get tired from beating you too much.
You know what it is? No, it's the Homer Simpson when he discovers that he can box type of just getting punched in the face until the other guy gets tired and then going, yay!
Okay. In that case, I would imagine both Sven and Harold are kind of like they take cover in the shield wall when it happens, and then when it opens and the charge happens, they're like
We're the first ones out.
Yeah, kind of like ah, ha, ha, ha. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
It would also
I
not
feel like
be. It would also
ahead.
not be unheard of to have the shield wall being nice and solid, and then just saying "wee"
Yeah.
launched over the whole fucking thing, going
Yep.
"ah!"
And unless you've already said it, Leaf.
Leaf is going to. He uses throwing knives and dexterity, and he's
Yeah.
he's a dodger. He's also like light armor, like
Okay.
I guess maybe some leather on his chest to protect chest if necessary, but not. He doesn't want to be slowed down by any of that. So so he's coming up and stabbing you 3 times before you know what happened, kind of thing. And that's why throwing knives and whatever. He's very like roguish, kind of like.
yeah.
So yep, he is unlike me in real life. He's very like like he can move out of the way and
So-
get where he needs to.
Probably more like sword, short sword, dagger, etc. Like in terms
Dagger,
of,
yeah, he's got daggers and
Yeah.
like short knives and maybe like a couple of like smaller axes that he can use as hand to hand, but also
Yeah.
can throw them if he wants to. So
Okay. Just to highlight some of the others, like the Jarl is pretty standard sword, shield, takes part in the shield wall, etc. As I've said, Aki, a bit more ranged based, but also agility, dexterity. I'd say probably Eskil, your brother, is like similar to you, except for maybe more of a bruiser, like in terms of just
Yeah.
big two-handed axe and just
Eskil is also bigger than Harald.
yeah. So more like pure strength sweeping and just like oh,
Yeah.
an interesting combo. And then the majority of the others will be axes, swords, shield, reasonably heavy armor for the most part. And you have a spattering of like I'd say more Harald style lighter or like lighter armored but quicker, more berserkery vibes.
Harald
obviously.
and Eskil have kind of developed their fighting styles in conjunction with each other because they have fought back to back and on raids since they were 14 and 16, and
Yeah.
so they've been going at it for a while.
Obviously, as well, spears, yes. So there'd be spear
Yeah.
shields, axe shields.
Yeah,
sword
I mean the
shields.
spears are for the axe wall or for the shield wall.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
and then
It's just another version of the hoplite of the classic. I think it was originally Greece shield wall, basically.
yeah. I mean, it's an effective tactic, so it has spread.
It's stuck around for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, with that said, everything is prepared, and I'm going to say, for the sake of there are 2 ships total, and I'm going to say you all get on the same ship just because it's easier to on the journey over. The day traveling is quite calm. Well, is reasonably calm for this part of the ocean. However, during the night, on the first day, there is a fairly strong storm. You've got fairly heavy rains, fairly rough waters, and the occasional flash of lightning in the distance. A few of the warriors take it to be a blessing from Thor. A few of them take it to be a warning or a portent of bad omen. It kind of goes all over the place. My first curiosity here would be, how do you take it? Like, or do you even take it in any way? Do you set store?
I was going to say, Harald probably doesn't pay it any mind other than weather.
And keep in mind, like, the majority of people are still chill. There's just a little bit of murmuring and muttering among a few where it's like, oh, it's a bad omen, or like, oh, this is Thor, like, sending us off in style, etc., etc.
Leaf is like, oh, Thor is giving us a proper going away to show all our people.
Thor is throwing a rave party.
Glow sticks, whee!
Sven is not so sure. Sven is a little worried about this. He is not outward with it, but when everybody else is like maybe he sees Leaf kind of just like, yeah, like, all right, like, you know, this is good. Sven is, again, ill-informed about the gods and the religion and all of that stuff. He doesn't really understand all of it. He hasn't paid attention enough to it, but he kind of just falls in line with it. But because of that, he doesn't know when something's good or bad, you know? And so in this situation, he's like, this doesn't feel good. I don't know what this is, but he's not like outwardly being like, panic. Like he's not being down, but like, he's just kind of maybe to himself a little bit, more than normal. And if anybody were to be like, the weather, he might be like yeah, absolutely, you know, or whatever, you know, just kind of like maybe playing it off faster than he normally would. So definitely internally, Sven is worried because he doesn't really understand if this is or is not a good thing. So he just immediately kind of takes it as like I don't think this is a good thing. It doesn't feel right or something.
In that case, I think we'll have like during the night, as you know, the ships are still sailing, but people are bunking down, you know, sleeping. Like the rain's kind of like assaulting you all a little bit, and it's a little bit miserable. It'll just be a moment where Aki kind of comes over and kind of like sits down and huddles up with you, and is just like over like the thunder and the rain. It's just like Sven, how are you holding up?
I'm fine. Focused. Yeah, focused.
It's a little bit miserable for the first day of a trip, of a journey like this. Hopefully it doesn't keep up for the next few days as we head towards shore.
Well, hopefully, since this is going to be the first time that the people we're going towards know of us, or this will be the hardest part. I'm sure it will be.
Absolutely. And
kind of fake confidence as best he
yeah,
can.
like and Aki like smacks you on the shoulder, you know, kind of like a bump, and says, "Hey, even if it keeps raining the whole time, at least at least it'll finish when we get off into the town. It won't take us long to get in there." And like, there's kind of like a trailing off where it's like, that's not the best, like, that's not super.
And Sven is just kind of just like, yeah.
Thanks for the reassurance.
Yeah.
We gotta
He's
get
just
there
like,
first, god damn it.
Anyway, I'm gonna take care of my axes. And he kind of like walks over to the stone and just like a sharpening stone or whatever.
Yeah, honing thing.
And he just kind of just sits by himself and he just turns. He's really just like this is weird for Aki, but like wouldn't be the first time that he's seen him like this, but it is like out of character, and Aki would, I mean, obviously Aki notices.
Yeah.
But like also Sven is like, thanks.
Aki kind of like sighs, gets up and starts walking away, and then stops and like spins round triumphantly with like a smile on his face and goes, "Hey, at least there's no fox shit on the ocean." And then just like turns back around and walks off like, "There you go, I nailed it."
Yeah, and Sven just kind of just like, "You fucking asshole." Like, that is funny. Like, he does chuckle. He does crack a smile.
For the trip, what is everyone else doing? Are you just hunkering down, like keeping out the rain, or like what's going on here?
Harald is at the tiller for the boat he's on.
Okay.
He's at the back steering and singing and making sure everyone keeps time with the oars when we use oars and not just sailing.
Yeah.
Okay. How out of curiosity, if you know, like how often would that be that we would be using the oars if we were like, on like the higher seas, or is it more like when we're closer to shore? Like,
well, it completely depends on the wind. Which is why, in case of needing to. So I think I wouldn't be surprised, considering how long Harald and Leif have done this, if they have some kind of a group leader, like they're veterans of raiding essentially. Maybe not everyone who's been out has been out for 16 years consecutively and come back, so I wouldn't be surprised if Harald and Leif have accrued some more duties and like responsibilities since they've been out so many times before.
Always helping introduce, like teaching the newer guys, although this isn't, like they said earlier, is not a new raider kind of thing. They're kind of going into a more experienced thing, so I think it would probably be lighter on us for this, right? But
it's kind of cool, the dynamic, the difference between like you guys being veteran raiders of your area with your jarl, but like that's not your main gig. Like you're farmers, you just do your thing, as opposed to like the other group that's there, which is like that's all they do. Like they exist via wandering around and adventuring to go find other raiding parties and stuff. So I would say that Sven and Aki and probably most of the group is a lot younger than you guys. You guys are in your 30s. Like we're probably mid 20s, maybe. But we've let's say probably seen a similar amount of raiding, but in a different amount of time. So,
and I would say in general, the slightly older group who are part of the settlement and of the Jarl's contingent, let's call it, most likely haven't as much had to deal with the kind of like, I would say for Sven's group, the adventurers, they would have a slightly more tendency to have seen like the more lawless wilderness vibes, where you meet a group of people and you're not sure if you're going to kill each other or share a drink kind of thing. So, but like, not to say that the rest of you guys haven't experienced, the brutality of war and battle and etc. But there's a level of security and safety there in like having land and farming and etc. It gives you a bit more of a respite from the everyday grind to a degree.
Also got more to lose.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I would say there's the No, you know what? We've had too many roles. I'm not going to ask for more roles. This is
Come on!
This is
We don't mind. I'm sure we don't mind.
This is sailing, and the it's not as much of a storm or anything either. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, it's raining. There's some thunder and lightning, but it's not like in threatening. You know, it's not a horrific storm that's gonna wreck all your ships or anything. It's just a bit miserable. Throughout the morning of the second day traveling, you have like a still a drizzle, still some rain, but it's started to mostly clear up. Through the second and third day traveling, you have slightly more clear skies, but less wind, so there's more rowing, and there is more I don't know. I feel like essentially at a point you may start being like, man, I miss when it was raining and windy because we didn't have to row quite so much.
Fucking back.
And then when it's like raining and stormy, you're like, oh, I wish it would stop raining and storm because it's so depressing.
Never fucking happy, these goddamn Vikings.
Yeah. Grass is always greener.
Yeah.
And so we come to the fourth day, where
how are we steering? Are we doing the let a bird up and see if it flies towards land or gets back in the boat trick? Or
I mean, that's a classic, isn't it? So I'd say yes.
Cool.
On the fourth day, you are pretty sure you're getting close to the shore. To your, as best you can tell, you are on course. There may have to be a little bit of a look around, but should be fine. However, on the morning of the fourth day, as you all get up and you rise and everything, you are presented with a very, very thick mist. It is such that around about here you start to lose sight of your hand.
Holy fuck.
Welcome to the English Channel, mate.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say we know it's Britain then.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to live in Seattle, but like we have very similar climates, but we don't have that kind of fog.
No, imagine the climate of Seattle, but the fog from San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm with you. God damn.
And there is a pool on the ocean. It is flat, it is quiet, and all you can hear as you wake up and as you start to move around is occasional footsteps, the creaking of the boats, and the very faint lapping of the water against the ship.
Sven is immediately uncomfortable after waking up. Immediately like, this isn't right. This is too calm.
When the fellow warriors, when the raiders speak on the boats, they speak kind of quietly. Not necessarily a whisper, just it feels strange to be loud and boisterous or just talk regularly.
Yeah. I feel like you're disturbing something.
Do we know where the other? Is it two boats were? Because you said about 50 people, right? So it's two boats.
Yeah.
So can we see the other boat?
You can't see it, but you can hear like.
But we can hear that.
An occasional like.
Yeah. Okay.
We'd have to row. We'd have to be on the oars because it's the wind. There's got to be no wind right now.
Yeah. So
you'd be able to hear the lapping of the oars occasionally once we get back on them.
I would say as you go, you do start to hear the splish and splash of the other ship reasonably far in the distance, but still audible. As correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm going to say at least for everyone else, there's very little chatter. There is just the sound of everyone heaving the oars. And
I have a question about that, actually. Would we not try to reestablish contact with the boat so we don't go like, hey, unfortunately, we came ashore, but it's 12 miles between us?
So being able to, I would say most likely there'd be a hail if you're at the tiller.
Yeah, or like a torch or something. Just light up and see if we can see them. Because if we can see a torch, then we know they're somewhat close at least.
Yeah. I'd say so.
And a torch is quiet as well.
The adventurers and the raider and the party would have absolutely just deferred to, like, if there was a conversation about that or anything like that. It's just like, you guys know your group, you know how this works. We defer to you. If you need our help, we're here to help.
Harald and Leif would probably talk, and I'd probably tell Leif, like, let's break out the torch.
Yes, that's a good idea. We don't want to lose that other ship.
Is the Jarl in our ship or the other ship?
It's in the other ship.
Got it. Okay. Oh God, that sound would have just, like, Sven is on fucking edge.
Yeah.
Like, because you're making like such an aggressive sound in an eerie, quiet, muted world right now. Oh, Sven would be like, just fucking chill out, you know.
Then get the torch going and then hold it up and see if we get any reaction from. Because I assume we know which direction the boat is, at least, if not the distance.
Yeah. And you get the torches up, and it kind of like causes this like little circle of orange light. Within probably about 2-3 minutes, the same kind of like little vague beacon, but the fog is thick, so it's hard to tell distance exactly. But you got a vague idea of they're over there. They're still with you.
Okay. I would probably steer, since Harald's at the tiller, I'd probably steer towards the ship so we can get closer.
Okay. Yeah. You can absolutely get closer, sure.
Since we're not using the wind anyway, we're doing oars. We could just like, okay, let's paddle for a few minutes, get back to them, and then because we're here with the Jarl. We should probably stay with the Jarl.
It seems like they have.
Oh, hey guys, where did you go? We ended up in Canada. It's really cold over there. Okay, let's go home.
It seems like you both ships had a similar idea. In like, the fog is too thick to be bold about it, but you slowly like drift towards each other a little bit, get a little bit closer. You can hear the creak of the oars and the splash of the water, so that you're close enough together.
Yeah, that sounds good.
One thing I will say is that as you keep going, as the fog doesn't seem to lift up, and as it gets closer towards evening, towards nighttime, you're still in this like thick fog. You're still rowing. You're still going. There's still no wind, and it's still flat. And as time goes on, you know what? Let's have a roll. Could everyone please fill out their skill for your own? Essentially, this is how superstitious you are. So higher is more superstitious.
What value is?
Feel free to go anywhere from 10 to about 17. So
which
skill is that?
For occult.
Occult. Okay. I would like permission to be at a 75 to 80.
Yeah, sure. Go for an 80. But I feel like it's already been established through roleplay that you're.
100%.
Yeah.
Sven is like.
I was already expecting you to be quite high anyway, so.
Cool. I keep missing by a few fucking points.
Oh wait, so I want a high or right? I want 80.
You want a low.
Yeah, put it like 80 or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your knowledge is high, and then you roll below it.
And
Well, so this isn't knowledge, right? This would be more feeling, because again,
Yes.
Sven doesn't
Yeah.
know what's going on, but like maybe he's aware. Oh.
it's I guess it's
Oh!
94.
it's not a super critical failure.
I love the
Oh!
idea that you're absolutely panicking.
I
don't
yeah.
like the water. I don't like the water.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm not doing good at all right now. Holy shit. With an 80, I rolled a 94. What the fuck?
That's funny.
Oh,
So
no.
No one passes.
as the darkness descends among your ships, and the sloshing of the water and the mist just seems to thicken more and more. You can hear the creaking of the boats, and it starts to fill your consciousness and echo among, like, bounce off this thick mist. So it almost sounds like it unsettles and disturbs all of you. However, for you, Sven, as you're pulling away at the oars, with this kind of like rhythmic to the beat with everyone else, and the darkness is closing in and the mist gets thicker, you lose sense of the other ship. You can't feel the other ship there. You can't hear the sounds from the other ship. You can't see the other people rowing in front and behind you.
God.
You can't hear them, you can't sense them, and the mist becomes this kind of dark cage for you, whereby all you are doing is rowing and rowing and rowing, and there's no one else there with you. You're not even sure you're on a ship anymore. You're just rowing, and if you just keep focusing on rowing, you won't have to look up, you won't have to look around, you won't have to realize that all you have around you is black darkness, the gap all around you pressing in on you. And you hear this kind of whispering, soft wailing of voices just on the edge of perception, out in the distance, out in that blackness. And then as you're rowing, you see like a very faint movement, and you see like reaching out from the mist and this like encroaching darkness, just this like skeletal hand with like long fingers reaching out towards you.
Holy fuck. So oh my god. Okay. Just rowing, and I'm not paying attention to it, but I know that it's there, and it's the edge of my consciousness, and then I finally see this thing. As soon as I see this thing and I acknowledge something is there, whether I understand that it's a skeleton head or not, I pull my axe and just swing right towards it.
Yeah.
Wherever that axe is in reality, I don't know.
And so
but I am swinging towards it.
For the purpose of everyone else, suddenly Sven stands up and like swings his axe, and it just buries into the side of the ship with this like echoing wooden thunk. And Sven, the darkness dissipates slightly. You're back on the ship. There are people around you. You hear the sounds of you hear the sounds of people, and they're like, there's slow, soft whispering, like, what was that? What's going on?
You didn't see it? You did. And then he looks at the axe and it's like buried in and sorry.
And Aki, you feel like Aki behind you says Sven, and puts his hand on your shoulder, like kind
and
of.
then Sven kind of just.
Oh no, it's all right. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I saw something.
I don't know. It's fine. I thought you were gone for a second there. Like the mist is thick, but it was like you weren't sitting in front of me anymore.
I feel like I was. I'm sorry. I thought I saw something. I'm okay. I see you now. We're here. I'll get back on the oar. I'm sorry. And then he kind of looks at Harald and Leaf, and he's just like, sorry. I'm back on the oar. Sorry.
I
sits down and just puts his
I love the idea of Harald and Leif being like mid-whisper conversation. So when you look over, they're both looking at you with like one eyebrow raised, going, "Is he okay?" I don't know that guy.
They must have dropped him on his head on his various raids. That's why he's here now.
Could be.
And as everything starts to settle down, Sven, obviously, you sit down, you get back to the rowing, and things feel more normal. Like the quiet descends again, and the darkness is just normal darkness. Like there's fog, thick fog still. There's the darkness of the night, but there's not that same sensation of like just creeping void that you were feeling. I'd say there's a small aftertaste of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got to be a matter of like, there may be an actual aftertaste. It also might just be in Sven's head. He's absolutely out of his mind, paranoid right now. Like he's freaking out, and he's trying to keep it under control. Obviously, to the point where it's not quite working. But he's, it's like when you're sleeping at night, and there's somewhere there where there's no sound or anything like that, and you're hearing, and your perception just grows to the point in which you're just like, did I just imagine that sound, or is that a real sound?
Yeah,
it's like he's at that point right now, like not doing good.
Or the other version, which is you don't notice a sound until it stops, and you go,
Oh yes.
What
Oh god, that's a nightmare.
Something got quiet. I don't like it, but make it quiet.
Oh fuck yes, absolutely. Yeah, all of that stuff is happening room right now. He is internally losing it, and externally the most you're gonna see is him just like, he's not blinking very much, and he's not looking ahead. He's got his eyes focused on one spot as he's rowing, and then maybe one other, and that's it.
And I'll say, as you keep rowing, as you keep moving, there is a moment for all of you where in the quiet, in the mist, in the darkness, you hear a clattering, not a loud noise, a very subtle noise, and I'd say the second you hear it even, you're still not sure you actually heard it. You hear what sounds like bones being rolled on stone. A little kind of like echoey clatter of like.
How do we know that's what it sounds like? That's very specific.
That is the sound for the sake of a sensation of what you hear. I won't necessarily say that's what you associate it with.
Oh, okay. Connotation association. I get it. Yeah. I think Harald will take his, I don't know, like a stick or something he's holding, and just tap it a couple of times on the boat so people know to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then see if we can localize the sound.
It's there and gone. It only happens to once. And eventually, you'll settle down for sleep. Those of you who can sleep, I will leave it open as to whether Sven manages to get much sleep this evening.
Uber's like, no.
Hell no. So again, it just gets worse, right? His paranoia gets worse now that everybody's sleeping. There's not other people there to catch him if he fucking loses it. So he fucking spirals even harder. Like he does not sleep. Like maybe he falls asleep from exhaustion at one point for like an hour or something like that, but that's the most he gets.
It's not paranoia if they're really out to get you.
In the morning, the sun wakes you all up as the mist, this heavy, thick fog, has dissipated sometime in the night. I will say, seeing as Harald has been on the tiller I'm assuming in shifts, like you're not doing it the whole time, obviously. But I would say you would probably have experienced the transition, which was essentially as morning was breaking, a little bit before morning was breaking, the fog just stopped. It was almost like exiting a cloud, basically. Like you just end up coming out of the fog, using essentially the bird, sending it up, seeing if it comes back. A couple of hours into dawn, it doesn't come back. Cool. Within about an hour, you actually see the coastline of England. And I will say, for the sake of let's call it like simplicity or whatever, you have been provided with a decent idea of what to expect from the coastline. This looks like you've pretty much ended up in the right place. You do see there is a heavily wooded area with a slight beach and slight incline up towards the forest, which is basically in front of you. There's a decent tract of like open land around the beach and kind of cliff area. Going up along to the north of the coast, there is kind of like this spit of outcropped, call it like a hill or not really a mountain, but that kind of like rocky high ground spit of land which just kind of goes up and up and up. And up at the top there is a what looks like some kind of like building, tower type thing. I'd say within about 20 minutes of having sighted land, there is a fire going at the top of it.
Oh, fuck.
And at this point, the Jarl shouts over from the other ship, which is still with you, don't worry. The Jarl shouts over, "It looks like they're going to be prepared for us. No reason to stay quiet now." And starts to become a flurry of activity as people start rowing and start kind of getting ready, getting prepared. The wind does also pick up a fair amount, so that's possibly what dissipated some of the fog or moved the fog out of your area. And so you need to row a bit less, so essentially you can get prepared and get ready for a landing.
When the Jarl's like, no need to be quiet anymore, one of these comes out, and it's a case of everyone's like, okay,
nice,
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Now it's not singing anymore. Now it's chanting.
Okay,
yeah,
for the sprint to the beach. Skagold, Skalmold, Skildir, Klavnir. And everyone chants back and you keep going for the beach.
Hell yeah.
Sword time, axe time. Shields are splintered.
As you start to get closer to the shore, you see a flurry of activity of essentially this shore has a little bit of an incline. I'd say like it's just a quick run up a hill, basically. but there are like kind of very rocky terrain across the edge of the beach. It's pretty much you're gonna have like a few easy paths up. One of those paths, which is essentially the one you're both heading towards, is now being filled up by what looks like soldiers. And I can say, as you get closer, they appear to be quite heavily armored. You know, shields and swords. Probably, I'd say the shout goes up that looks like about 80 of them.
How many do we have?
50.
50. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you're starting to speed up a little bit, you know, starting to see to the oars, you hear the Jarl shout over to both ships, like, I feel sorry for anyone who falls here. This is barely even a battle. I'm not sure the gods will count it. And then, essentially, like, for Vikings, you have, the idea was, if you fall in battle, you go to Valhalla. And the Jarl's basically saying, there's...
Sort of? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
50%
I know,
chance
yeah.
You might go to the fields. Not quite so nice.
Yeah. But...
also, when Sven goes, when there's 80 of them, Harald kind of laughs at him and shouts, "It's okay. They're 80 peasants. Peasants are nothing." And then...
And then Sven, still exhausted and didn't sleep and confused, just keeps chanting the thing, and he's just all fucked up right now.
Harald also makes sure not to mention the fact that he's normally a sheep farmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
No need to confuse
it doesn't even phase Sven. Like, that doesn't even occur to him.
As things keep going, and I will say essentially, like, what the Jarl is basically saying is, like, there aren't enough of them to prove a challenge, so it may not be considered to be, like, if you die in this fight, it may not be considered like dying in battle, because this is going to be so easy kind of vibes. How much of that is bravado or not is, you know, down to interpretation.
I mean,
but...
I guess I probably should have asked beforehand, is like, would after doing this multiple times, like Sven and the raiding company, and I mean everybody here has done this multiple times.
Yeah.
Would we have seen that many people, considering how many people we would have, and then actually like felt this might not be, like, regardless of our own overconfidence, would we have actually looked at that logistically and been like, this could be hard?
So in your experience raiding the coast and just raiding in general, like, the discipline and ferocity of Viking warriors, and enjoy, like, the warrior mentality of Vikings just in general, raiders, is such that this isn't really overwhelming odds. Very often, the Vikings would kind of, especially by surprise, but just kind of dominate the basic. This is even if they're well equipped, this is probably, as as Harald said, like, just peasants who are who've been thrown into armor and etc. They're not. They don't have the mentality of a professional soldier. So
they're soldiers in the same way that McDonald's is a restaurant.
Got it. Yeah, that's really just like for context. I was curious because, like, you know, as you know, when you think 1-to-1, you're like, okay, well, that's more numbers, but I guess that makes sense. And we've been doing this for years and years and years.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's 300 when they go, what is your profession? And the Vikings go, we're fucking Vikings.
Yeah.
What is your profession? I'm a cobbler. That's nice.
Yep. Cool. So
you're a cobbler. Then maybe you can take care of my foot up your ass.
So it essentially, like, with the sleeplessness and etc., it does make sense for Sven to be a little bit off kilter. But I'd say feel free to adjust that as you like, because it's there's a certain confidence.
Maybe it's along the lines of, like, he sees that they're geared or armored or something like that, and he just, you know, considering what happened last night and his you know, exhausted state, he's just kind of like he's just worried about, he'd be worried about anything, kind of a thing.
Luckily,
you know?
luckily they're not skeleton warriors.
Yes, 'cause
bone
then
rattling.
you would just like, nope, I'm swimming back. Fuck this.
Turn around, turn around.
Are you actually blowing in it right now?
I think my neighbors might kill me if I do that.
Okay, I was like, I want to hear it.
Because if
you
I
are.
blow this, it's like 95 decibel. Yeah.
Okay.
At 10 to 11 p.m. No, I would.
Oh, yeah, don't do
I
that.
would not be here next week. I'd be hanging from the ceiling.
It's 4 in the afternoon for me, so you're
Yeah,
fine if you do it on my
if you had this, you probably would still be hanging from the ceiling by the time we find it.
time. Noted.
So, as the ships get closer, you see that they do have also a significant portion of their forces as archers behind the main line. The main line has formed a fairly raggedy wall of shields. They aren't great. They aren't like, you know, massive like heater shields or anything. They're just, you know, standard round shields. And I would say all of you, without even needing a roll, can tell that their organization is shot. They're not forming a wall properly. They're not organized or anything like that. In comparison, the Jarl shouts out over the ships, shield the boats, take the landing, form a wall once we land. And so, let's just switch over to this. So, the ships speed up as you all put your backs into the oars. The beat, I would assume someone at this point on both ships would be, so I'm gonna, would be either beating a drum of some kind, more likely possibly shields, and a kind of like a chant starts to build just to the push of the oars in synchronicity, where it's like, ooh, ooh, and I will say, feel free to use that to psych yourselves up as well, because that is a very common form of warfare where you basically feed off the energy of everyone else. Where it's like,
Skeggold, Skarmold, Skildir, Klafnir.
Fen is just following suit and just like, feeding off the energy. He's like, well, also he's thinking like, this is the only way to stay awake right now. This is the only way to stay alert. Like, embrace it. Embrace that that insanity and the adrenaline.
And as you get close to the shore, you can see the flurry of activity. The archers start kind of like moving around and getting prepared. The Jarl shouts over to shield the ship. And some of the oarsmen get off the oars and run to the prow of the ship, and shields go up and over, so it's almost like a little bit of an umbrella around the ship, and there's a few of them like standing there ready to catch arrows. The first like volley hisses and flies over, hits the shields, you know, wooden thunk, 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 thunk. Another volley flies over. I'd say maybe 1-2 people get hit in like the leg or the shoulder or something. A quick sharp cry of like, ow, I got shot, as the ships beach themselves intentionally, like prow first, like run up the beach, and immediately the Jarl yells to disembark, and with a massive like woo, you all like jump off over the sides, charge forward, and immediately form into one fairly solid shield wall, as all of the shields kind of like the front line like kneels down, like shields in the sand. The next set kind of overlapping over top and forms this very tight, heavy defense. Those of you with shields will be part of it. Those of you without, which I think maybe all of you actually.
Yeah, I don't think any of us.
None of us have shields.
You essentially, the tactic is to receive the first volley, maybe even 2 volleys, and then you break and you charge. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of Aki, for example. There are a couple of archers who return a shot or 2, essentially just to, you know, take a couple out if possible. Let's see how that goes.
keep their confidence low.
Yeah, that's
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh my god.
let's not worry about Aki
How many
firing.
fucking like crits have we had today?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's some poor bird like flying directly above you who gets hit by an arrow.
96, 94. We had a 97 earlier.
So
92.
Aki
Another
has
96. Holy
hit a-
shit.
Yeah,
Aki's
dude.
hit
That
a
was
random
one or the other.
bird and a
The neighbor's cat.
Yeah.
This third battle. Aki hit a person this time.
Don't say that, because Aki will hit one of you next.
Oh shit.
If Sven is like part of the shield wall or like behind the shield wall,
Yeah.
Leif will have seen this before, but Harald at this point has his wolf coat on him, so
Yeah.
he has his wolf head on his head and bare chested at this stage, basically amping himself up, walking back and forth and snarling and making like wolf sounds. And he's got two very sharp axes, double bit axes in one in each hand. And
Are the ones in each hand, are these axes like two-handed axes he's got two of?
No, they're double bit, so they're two bladed axes, but they've got short handles.
Yeah.
So it's
Got
not
it,
like
got
a
it.
two-handed axe.
Um,
But that's what he's wielding and like basically just amping himself up at the back of the line, shouting at people and basically getting into the mood.
As this is happening and the arrows are kind of like raining down on the shield wall, there's like kind of like a you hear the hiss of like incoming arrows, and then the kind of thunk 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 of like arrows hitting the shield wall. There's like a slight reverberation on the shield wall. I would say probably Leaf. As you're like inside the shield wall, like hearing this kind of like thunking down on the shield, one of the shield maidens, Vigdis, who is also taking cover behind the shield wall, kind of like you find yourselves kind of like huddled in and in there, and like you both kind of like look up and see each other, like just waiting for to be told to charge, pretty much. And she looks up for a second. There's another set of like thuds on the shield, and she goes, "It's funny. I would say it is too sunny to be raining."
Very true. The gods are strange like that.
And at that point, another set of thuds like rain down, and then you hear the Jarl say, up and at them! Take none prisoner!" And there's this big kind of like shouting yell as the shields are like taken away, and everyone stands up, like shouts, cheers, and charges towards and up this kind of like open, little easier, less rocky, etc. Incline.
In between people who break up the shield wall,
Yeah.
a big wolf man comes running through and is at the head of the group, running in towards the enemies.
With
Sven's right on his side. Sven's
yeah.
like literally to his right behind him, and he's just fucking frothing at the mouth.
I would say Sven and Harald take the lead, and followed not far behind by in a bearskin, Eskil, your brother, who bit bigger. This big,
he's a bear.
Big hefty. I would say the bear pelt is a little bit more like raggedy and a little bit older looking, just purely
Yeah,
because.
he's had it for a while though. So that's
Yeah. I will. Yes. So there is going to be a volley that reaches everyone before you manage to hit into melee. So if you could please, I would say either parry or dodge, depending. And I would say again for there you go. Okay.
Oh my god!
Oh, nice.
What the fuck are these rolls?
So good.
And Sven has a nice pierced ear now.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
So
I'm the one that has the highest fucking score. Damn it.
It's the Will Wheaton dice curse. You roll high when you're supposed to roll low, and vice
Yep.
versa.
so
God.
here's what happens. Like, Leaf, you're following behind them, and essentially, as you're a little bit further away, you can react a little bit easier. So there's a couple of arrows that come in your direction. One that probably hit you somewhere, but you just slip to the side. It falls harmlessly into the sand. Like pierces the sand. Well, hits the sand. When for you, Harold, it's literally just a case of like charging forwards. Your momentum, your speed is such that there's a little bit of panic and not as much accuracy. None of the arrows actually threaten your insane charge forward. The rest, and as a sidebar, just to keep up with everything that's going on, the rest of the Vikings are charging in basically right behind you. I would say for Sven.
Hold on. Sorry. Discord.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like.
Yeah. Okay. Sven, you are like the others who are in their Zerk. That's what I'm calling the Beserkr like mentality. You're in your
Do
Zerk.
it.
As you're
Bro, I'm totally zerking right now.
yeah, like it is a similar sensation. You realize, like in the back of your mind, somewhere off drifting distantly, it's a similar sensation to what you felt in the mist. Like, except for instead of just void, it's just red. It's rage, it's anger, it's the thrill and the lust for the fight. And it barely registers as you feel like this kind of almost like a pinch in your shoulder, at the back of your shoulder, as you're charging forwards. The camera pulls backwards as this arrow is like pointing out the back of your shoulder. The camera pulls backwards, and you just see Aki at the back with bow and with bow in one hand, arrow in the other hand, and just like kind of looks forward, looks at the arrow, looks at the bow, and just goes and just throws them both away, and just takes out axe, takes out knife, and just charges forward. And
Fucking Aki shot me in the back.
You just sweep with your axe down across your shoulder blade and just like cut the shaft off, so it's not quite as and there's just this like arrowhead and a little bit of wood like poking out the back of your shoulder. You just keep charging.
Oh my god. I would hope that my shoulder blade would have blocked it from like going into my lungs or anything like that.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like
No,
it's in the muscle, but like it's not punctured a lung or anything like that.
it is a hit.
Yeah.
It is not a significant hit to even really register with you in terms of like much pain or anything. It's like a bee sting, and then you're immediately back into the Zerk, as it were.
God, that's so fucking funny. he super failed or crit failed, and then I crit failed, and I was like, oh, this has to be has to be.
Yeah.
I'm glad Aki finally hit something. But,
Yeah. I mean, you
literally, I was like, hit a person this time, and he fucking shoots me.
Yeah, you told him to hit someone.
I did. Oh god.
You have to be more specific.
I do. You're right. It's on me, man.
There's like a lull in the music for a second, and Aki just turns to the camera and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him." And then the but yes, essentially, in this charge, you'll be the first to hit the defenders, the line of shields. Then everyone else will pile in. So, if you would please, and feel free to flourish as much as you'd like on this, like kill, etc., everything along those lines. You know what? Let's hit a roll because why not? So, whatever your form of fighting is, please give me a roll for that. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So close.
I'm gonna do. Can I? You tell me what to roll. I want to tell you what I want to do.
Okay.
What I would like to do is, as I'm running towards my group, my one or two guys that I'm focusing on ahead of me, my goal is to just like at the very end, right before we get there, I'm sure we're all gonna do this, but it's to scream and get them to kind of like brace a little bit, right? Is to just get them to just get them to kind of pull back. And if they do that, my goal is to jump, put a foot on the top of their shield, so it bends back a little bit this way, and then like essentially kick down and then follow with an axe, whether either I'm hitting on him or anybody behind him, if there is anybody behind him. So it's essentially like, oh god,
you're looking to essentially rupture the shield wall here.
Yes, I mean like break this dude with my foot to start, but then kind of almost I want to say standing on it, but like if he pushes back enough, I'm gonna jump. But like I doubt that'll happen.
So, given the situation as how the characters have played out, I'll say in this case, we could probably hit if you go into your edit quickly, I'd say dexterity for Leaf can probably be around about 75. Strength for Harald and for Sven can also probably be about 75.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So if you feel it should be a little bit less or a little bit more, like, feel free to add or -5 there.
I'm gonna drop 5 off of that because I feel like Sven is not as just brutishly strong as Harald.
Okay.
But he does have higher dex than normal. So
I'm going the other way. So I've got 80 strength, but I'm dropping my dexterity a little bit.
All right. I would also say in this instance, just purely for what happened earlier, feel free, Sven, to take, I would say probably, let's say 75 Constitution. Just purely because of the...
Damn it.
Well, you rolled it now. It's fine. You got rid of that 83, right? Like before your roll.
Yeah.
It's good.
You said 70 or 75?
I say 75. Just going off the drinking rolls earlier, like it was pretty solid.
I like that. Having old rolls inform new stats. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, for you, Sven, I would say that's gonna be a full-on strength because it's not really like melee skill, etc. I'll say like unless it's a hardcore failure, it's probably still going to succeed to a degree.
Okay, here we go.
Or you can just roll an extreme success.
It's one or the other, man. What the fuck?
6 times success was what it's actually called.
Holy shit!
In the original system.
Okay, so we're going to highlight this moment because it's an extreme success. What I'm going to say here is, Sven, you have essentially complete narrative control. I will flourish into the scene with what the enemies do, and maybe even like throw in a suggestion for what you can do. Feel free to take complete creative control of how you want to destroy these. Start from the beginning. Start from the jump. Start from jumping on them.
So
and just go nuts.
Just running, 2 axes in hands, and just immediately, right as the end, just screaming, get him to pull his shield back. He pulls his shield back and bracing. It's the kind of they all do. Like this is a thing that he's done before. He expects that. You want them to flinch. He runs and jumps and puts a foot on the shield. When the guy does that, shield's maybe here. He puts his foot here, so it bends the shield back. And the guy who's like pushing back now, and Sven's actually going to use this. I'm going to change it a little bit here.
Could I? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I was going to say, could I throw it a little flourish
Please.
Instead of like stepping, it's a full jump and both feet landing on the shield and driving him to the ground like a you know, like just
It's
full
like
on.
a drop kick. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
drop kick.
Yes, and he's not just gonna go for this dude
Oh yeah, no.
as originally. He's gonna drive him into the ground and propel send himself forward, and he's going after the archer line now,
Okay.
completely exposed and unprotected. He's just fucking sprinting as the guy going straight for the archer line, as they're all still got their bows out and stuff, and he's just fucking going for it.
So I'm going to flourish again here, if you're good with
Mhm.
that. Keep in mind, this will not affect you in any way. This is just because it's cool. There is a couple of twangs as you like raise your arm with your axes in to like protect your vital points. A couple of thunks as like arrows like thud into your arm and one into like your shoulder. And as you keep running, you just swoosh swoosh with your axe, just knock off the arrow bits, and just keep running, keep screaming. At that point, the archers who were like reaching down to grab another arrow, realize that you're almost gonna be there. They don't have enough time for another load and fire, and they hesitate. In that half second of hesitation, you land in amongst them, and they're panicking, like maybe go for a sword, maybe try and run away, maybe try and fire the bow, and you land in them, and immediately like this kind of like fairly tall, regularly speaking, archer is confronted with this behemoth, like zerking man, who like the camera sees from the perspective lower down, like with the archer in shot, as he like swings around, like wild hair, like almost like red lights in his eyes, and he just reaches out and grabs the archer by the throat and just rips his windpipe like straight out of his throat. Like blood just go like everywhere, and he kind of like convulses and like falls to the ground, and then just swings his axe around in an arc at the other one within reach, and it buries into the side and carries him along with it, and actually flings him down the hill, like he separates from the axe and just rolls down the hill. Feel free to carry on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like he does that, rips his windpipe out, goes with the axe, and then immediately turns, grabs the other axe out of like the whatever, like the loop, I guess it's in. Kind of pulls it up like this and just fucking throws it at the head of the guy, and the other way, just right there.
Splits his helmet, splits his skull, like knocks him
after
backwards.
This, he's just working his way down the archer line, and he's got them kind of like as they're staggered, like stacked like this. Like maybe they spread out and try to do this, but he's now no longer like, his goal has never been and never will be to just like hit one until they're just dead. His goal is to just like wound, and if he can kill him, great. But he is like hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, and just going as far down the line as he can get before he's stopped at any point.
I love the idea of you, like the effect of you fanning out, so you're like a berserker pachinko machine. It's just going
just boom, 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 boom. Yep.
The price is right, motherfucker.
As I want to say as well, just the camera like zooms back to the main fight as there's people have hit the shield wall, and there's clanging of weapons on shields and weapons on weapons and fighting. Just in the background, you occasionally see like a body fly in the air, or like a snapped bow like fly.
I wonder who did that.
Harald. So
be free, my child. Fly.
Question for Harald, because I don't believe you've rolled yet. Wait,
I did 33 versus 75. I got a hard success.
Yes, you have. Okay. In that case, where do you hit the wall? Do you?
Yeah, instead of going over the wall.
Yeah.
For the archers, I go for like, oh, these are gonna be the guy that put up a fight. This is gonna be the fun part.
Okay.
So when Harald meets the shield wall, it's both axes coming from low to high, so that they go, and then they can't hold their shield, because it's easier to hold the shield down rather than going, you got no assistance from the other direction, and they just see arms flying with shields still attached.
Yeah.
And there's just absolute mayhem as a giant wolf man and a giant bear man tear into a line of peasants who can hardly hold their weapons, and they just absolutely obliterate the area right next to them.
I will say there is a moment as you kind of duck down a little bit and like sweep at like their knees, at their legs, where Eskil like just giant axe like brings it down, and it just like breaks a shield in half, like cuts straight through the arm and like embeds in someone's chest, and it's just like poof. As an addition, like Leaf, your throwing knives are distracting, but the same way as with the arrows, like the majority of them are not being super effective in killing. Maybe a couple like hit in like a leg or something, like, you know, etc. But I would say there is a point where as things start to crumble and break, which is pretty damn quickly, honestly, with how the two sides have met. You are presented with a one of the soldiers kind of takes a half-hearted like swipe at you, and you kind of like lean back, and it just like sing across in front of your face.
And then I take a knife and just cross the neck and just
yeah you would you be happy with having slightly longer than usual limbs, just like a slightly kind of like not gangly, but just kind of like a long reach and kind of a bit more
definitely
like flexible, etc.
Kind of like gorilla arms. They're
super
fucking long.
There's a Slender Man, Slaver Man joke here somewhere. We'll workshop it for next time.
But it essentially, as the soldier like kind of like goes like this towards you and tries to like slice at you, you just kind of like lean back at the same time as your long arm just comes out and just slices along his neck, and then just kind of come back forward. And the soldier's like there, kind of like at the end of his swing, and there's like a second where there's like a pause, and you're like staring at him, and then blood just goes like just spurts out, and he like crumples to the ground. At that point, there is a general. I don't think any of you would speak the language, like the kind of English language. There's probably at least one person who knows the language, but you know, we'll figure that out later.
They're in administration. They're back at the boats.
There's a general kind of like shouting and panic, and they start running away into the woods. The Beserkrs especially kind of like keep following the closest person and cutting them down. There's no quarter given, and within about, I'd say within about like 5 minutes, the remnants are either dead or have fled like mindlessly into the woods. And so, there is a general kind of like cry and like roof of victory. The red mist kind of like descends on those of you, like slips away slowly. I am going to just flourish a little bit here as well. I feel like for about a minute after everyone starts to calm down, Sven is still there attacking a tree, just like kind of hacking away at it for a while, just kind of like you know, just warming down a little bit, just like
this one's putting up more of a fight than the other ones.
And then there's just kind of like a general, especially for the Beserkrs, just a general kind of collapse where you sit down and catch your breath and like, and
I'm bleeding. Ow.
And I think as that happens and calm descends on the battlefield, the camera like flows away from the Vikings through the woods as trees like rush past the few remaining fleeing soldiers, until it gets to a walled off. What's the name for like a wooden fortification? like small wooden wall around a settlement.
Palisade?
Oh god.
Yeah, like a small wooden palisade around.
A wall?
I couldn't remember the palisade word.
Oh, okay.
A small wooden palisade encompassing around a small but relatively nice looking village, and then stops and pulls out and pulls back further in the distance along the sea of trees. In the distance there, a little bit distorted by like some vague fog type stuff, is a hill with a stone church temple on top. And as the camera starts to fade to black, we hear the sound of bones being rolled over stone again. And we'll end there.
What's with the palisade? Don't they trust the neighbors? That's so defensive. What's
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
so then showing no trust in your fellow man?
Oh my god, that was great.
So well done, fellow Vikings.
Murmder. What the fuck were those rolls? Oh
Yeah.
my god. Number one, I think we rolled more in this than we rolled in the entirety of the Fallen show.
Yeah, probably.
I 100%, which I fucking loved this. This was great. And number two, it was either like we had so many crits. We had so many freaking crits. Wild.
It was like bathe in water or die of thirst, basically. Like there was no in between.
Unfucking real.
So yeah, there you go, guys. Let's hit the outros very quickly. Basically tell everyone where you're from, where they can find you, and everything. And then we'll do a few little bits and pieces, and then we'll be off on our ways. So we'll start. Don't forget to hot potato. We'll start where we ended last time, which is with Goobers.
Goobers515. I'm a variety caster on Twitch. You can find me everywhere at Goobers515. Stop by my stream. Mondays is a talk show about the gaming world and memes. It's called RNG, where we give you some of the news some of the time. And that title and line is for very good reason, so stop on by. And then during the week, and probably for most of this show, I will be on my channel playing through my first playthrough of Lies of P, which is going to be a crazy, incentivized and fun run where you can win points and bet on how many times I'm going to die to a boss and get me to wear a Pinocchio nose, and it's a whole bunch of fucking stuff. It's gonna be a blast. So that's starting tomorrow. But yeah, Goobers515, that's me. I don't remember who it was. I'm gonna go to Rod.
You can find me on Twitch at Rod_Johnston. And I'm finishing up Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So that's been going on for a long time. And I'm usually playing something silly. I don't know. Whatever's going on. And that's about all. Like I said, I have a book. You can find me on Amazon if you just search my name. And then, yeah. And I have a podcast called Murder Moose where we talk about horror podcasts. I mean, we talk about horror movies. So, yep. That's all.
Pop potato over to Elizabeth.
Hi. I just calculated the average roll this session, and it's 49.5.
Oh,
that's amazing.
So it's pretty dead on.
Yeah.
And we had 7 crits.
Yeah, we had really low and really high.
What the fuck? We were right in the middle, and we had 7 crits. That's insane.
49.512 recurring.
If we don't have this many fucking rolls in the next session, I'm gonna be so upset.
Probably. There's certain shows that lean in better towards rolling. I tend to use my best judgment, but the shows I've been doing more recently, just narrative seems to play out. But hey, I mean, very often I'll be like, hey, give me a strength roll, Sven, and then you crit, and I'm like, all right, there's no need for any more rolls, just,
fair enough.
Have at them. It can be a lot of fun to go cinematic and narrative into combat and stuff, and not be like, okay, I swing, roll to hit. Okay, I dodge, roll to dodge. It's like, okay, I use my strength to rip everyone apart. hopefully you enjoyed the throat ripping. I thought
That was fucking great.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky and on the corner of Smith Street and at Lima Zulu Tango. You can also find me on my website which is longno.se. So it says long no, so it's just a period before the S and the E. Where I sell stuff made out of dead cows.
Go there.
It's very high. It's very high quality too. I've had an LZT wallet for years now.
Rod's got stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
I don't stream a lot right now because I've been sick, and also I have a bunch of exams because I'm a full-time student. So
Good luck.
it's a lot right now, but it's gonna be more streaming this from summer to New Year's. Essentially, I'm gonna be full-time streaming because I don't have any school, which is gonna be nice.
Oh, yeah.
And so tune in for that, or don't. I couldn't give less of a shit.
I put his link in chat, by the way. And Rod, I was
there
waiting
you
for
go.
you to give me your book so I could put that link in chat.
I mean, I've been waiting for Rod to give me his book for ages, but
I mean,
I've been waiting for Buck to give me his rod for ages. Oh no, wait.
and I myself am Sheepdog. I am the I am the storyteller, and I am the showrunner of The Wandering Inn. And if you want to see more shows, then consider going over, pledging a bit to the Patreon, or just supporting however best you can.
And check out the website at thewanderinginnet.
Check out the website as well.
Don't forget about the. Oh my god, that link.
I know that's why it's like that.
You're good. I'll fix it. Don't forget to go to the Patreon. Seriously though, because they're only like $150 away from another show.
Getting pretty close to having two.
They're
shows.
very close to it, guys. So do go check that out. Even the smallest amount of support can go a long way for these kind of things. So do it. Check it out.
Having said that, other ways you can support is, for example, the super chats while we're live streaming. So, having said super chats, there were quite a few. Going to say thank you to everyone and read out your messages. I don't think there are many questions. People are just messaging. First up, Syrinx, thank you very much. It's a shame not to have you on a Monday show, but there had to be one you aren't on. Syrinx says, go get 'em, men and Cat. I love you, sweetie. So Cat gets special treatment even when she's not here. Next up, we have Mark Numbers. Which I gave him the nickname Mark Numbers because I couldn't be asked to read out the numbers in his name every single time.
But then you explain it every time, so I'm not sure you're saving any time.
Well,
oh god,
have you not learned yet? I'm very inefficient. Mark says panic. Thank you for the super chat, and there was some panicking. To be fair, I believe that was Goobers panicking. Oh well, Sven through Goobers. Next up we have this is unfair.
It's not. I translated it for you.
I'm gonna try it first.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like the money was given, I must stay
absolutely.
True. So you can translate it after I fuck it up.
If you repost it in the Discord chat, I can actually read it afterwards. If you want.
Read it afterwards.
I'll do that while you're reading it.
Okay, so Duzapin Dan left the super chat message. Det ikke något med en engelskman som forteller en vikinghistorie.
Det er ikke noe rart med en engelskmann som forteller en vikinghistorie.
I didn't hear a difference.
And that just means there's nothing strange about an Englishman telling a Viking story.
I was very tempted to start.
According to Google, I guess. I don't know.
That is absolutely correct. That's Norwegian.
Oh, cool.
It's absolutely correct.
I was very heavily considering just describing all the Englishmen as like ugly and small and crap, and just being like, I'm just gonna totally abandon my people and be like, yay, Vikings.
Well, there is some research that suggests that a lot of the, shall we say, critique that the Englishmen directed towards the Vikings is fabricated because there is the whole rape and pillage might have been less of rape and pillage and more the Vikings came over and they bathed, they smelled nice, and they basically went on the pull when they arrived, much like they still do, except now they come by ferry, and people didn't like that they were taking the chaste Christian women, and they're like, oh yeah, they're terrible people.
I imagine there was a lot of both, because there always is. But Damned Man, thank you for super chat. So LZT, was this historically accurate enough?
I'm not gonna answer that because I don't think you want no. Yeah, I mean it's.
I would say probably not historically accurate enough, but there was a smattering of historical.
Well, let's put it this way: it's historically accurate enough for us to have fun with it.
Yeah.
There it is.
As long as we're not like next Marvel film, haha. Yeah. Guess what we've done now.
Yeah.
And also, we're not going, actually, every 5 seconds. Like, we found a nice middle.
There's a distinct lack of going,
Put it this way, if
it's hell, not hella.
If LZT was given free reign and encouragement to interrupt me every time I said something wrong, we'd be finishing in about another 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would still be on my sheep farm.
Yes.
I mentioned this for Chad. I mentioned this before when we were setting up. I studied linguistics and Egyptology, and the first thing my linguistics professor said on the first day was, linguists are not language police. That's not what we do. And it's something that I've tried to take to heart. It's really difficult sometimes. But also,
it is. Yeah, go ahead.
It works.
It is cool to know a couple times of just like, actually, this was a thing. Like, we may not go with that bit of story because of fun, but the knowledge that we get of, like, you know, some history we didn't know about is still cool, you know?
And finally, Pavel Kolosar, another super chat, which said cast bottle / diaper fund. So whether you are...
Don't explain it.
Yeah, I mean, when you went to the bathroom, Sheepy, we were talking about how you always go to the bathroom, and it's like you guys talk, and it's never, let's take a break. And I pointed out that we don't get a bathroom break. We get a bottle with a funnel.
Yes,
and a screw.
So now we have a diaper fund.
But,
Thank you, chat.
I do pay for those bottles, so you're welcome.
Yes, you do.
It's fair. Yeah, he does.
Finally, another shout out to the Blind Watchman who claimed responsibility for this. If you want someone to blame the Blind Watchman. However, also because I want to be serious as well, thank you very much for the support. It's massively appreciated. With that said, I think we can probably head off into I am very, very curious. LZT, how did I do with my, because I feel like I always fuck it up with my pronunciation of the Ginunga Gap.
Oh, I won't comment.
Oh, good, thank you. Okay. I mean, it's the same as just saying you suck, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a way better way to do it.
It's the equivalent of saying "bless your heart."
Which you
bless his heart. He tried.
You may have noticed that in the intro, I was like, I have to say Ginunga. I have to say it. I have to say it.
Fucking Rod's name is Leaf.
Yeah.
But it's actually Leif. But I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I'm like, I have to say it at least once, so I'll say it in the intro, and then every time after that, I'll refer to it as the Gap. Which, as I was saying, like, oh yeah, the Gap and etc., I was just picturing like a store, you know, the Gap. It makes it all very ridiculous.
Yeah,
you walk into the Gap.
Mind the Gap.
Yeah, mind the Gap. But yes, we will head off into the Gap, and we will be back next week to see what exactly is going to happen as we start properly raiding the town. So, with that said, thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.